Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the third episode of Matrix Dialogues. In this episode, I sit down with Zack, a close friend and a former Army serviceman, who shares his profound insights of mental health, physical fitness, and personal growth. From running, lifting, and managing the complexities of life in the military, Zack's story is a testament to resilience and discipline. He offers a candid look at the challenges and triumphs of his military service, the skills he gained, and the pivotal experiences that shaped his sense of purpose. Thank you all for listening, and I hope you enjoy it. All right. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Matrix Dialogues. I'm your host, Austin Boozer, and I am joined today by a great friend of mine, someone that's very dear to me, very special guy, Mr. Zack Parrott. Zack, how you doing, buddy?
Dude, I'm good. Stoked to be here. Been here 24 hours now.
Not even.
Yeah, stoked to be here, man. Get some conversation in.
Oh, yeah. For those who don't know, well, that's everyone, essentially. Zack and I were in the Army together, and though he mentioned we haven't been together 24 hours yet, it's the first time we've seen each other in a little over 6 years, so it's been a long time.
Yeah.
A long time. So it's been great to reconnect with him in person, though we still talk every day like some little girls, and have pretty much every day for the last 6 years in some capacity. This is great, but yeah, so I guess we'll just kind of jump into it. We'll just kind of start with, I don't know essentially where I want to start. There's so much I do have. I guess I'll kind of give you the overarching ideas and the topics I plan to cover with us today. We're going to talk about some things in mental health. It's definitely an important thing that we both can spend a lot on. We're going to talk about fitness, what that's impacted to us and our lives collectively. Obviously, we're going to talk about some gay stuff mentioning the Army because it's a needed thing. We're also going to get into some questions people have asked me recently that I wanted to banter with someone on, that I thought, as much as you like to be a little hard on yourself and say like, hey, I'm not a super smart dude. You got a good life scope, and you've been through quite a bit of challenging endeavors in your short life, like me, and I enjoy talking to someone who's got that kind of perspective. So we're gonna throw some shit at you.
Let's just preface everything first, though, by saying I am not the smartest person that's probably going to be on this. I'm actually probably one of the dullest tacks in the box. So don't take everything I say to face value, because it might sound a little stupid at times, but yeah, it'll be fun.
Zack's a very unique character. Maybe dull, but he is incredibly resilient. So he'll stick around. He's not gonna bend or break on you. You may have to like hammer that thing into the wall, but it'll go in.
Yeah,
he might enjoy it.
Maybe a little bit.
So let's. I guess we'll just start with a little bit about you, kind of like some of the places you've been, how long you're in the Army, your transition, and like moving around, what you've done, and kind of tell people a little bit about who you are.
Yeah. So born and raised in Eugene, Oregon. Lived there until I was 18. Single mom, absent father into drugs, little brother who's, I had to take care of from the age of 8. So my mom could, provide for us 4 walls and a roof, clothes on our backs, food in the bellies, some tough stuff. Not really much of a childhood. Grew up angry at the world, hated school. When it came time to graduate, I was like, man, I need to get out of here. And so I enlisted in the Army at 17 and left right afterwards after graduating high school. Went to, where all infantrymen go. Fort Benning, Georgia. Was there for what I think was 14 weeks at the time. I think it's different time length now. I think it's like 22.
Insanely long.
Yeah. From there, went to Fort Carson, Colorado. And that's where actually you and I met.
Indeed.
Right before our first deployment to Afghanistan. I got there in December of 2015. When did you get there?
A little after you, early 2016.
Okay, yeah, and then we left February of 16. We did 9 months there.
Yep. Bouncing
all over the country, just being sporty, having fun,
having a great time.
Great time with the boys. Wanted to trade for a thing, and then came back and we did a train up for a year, and then we went on another one, or at least I did. I think you had moved on to a different chapter in that time of your life because of some medical stuff, which
Mhm.
sad to see you go, but
Yeah.
we've stayed in touch for
Definitely.
forever now. From there, went on another 9-month or almost 10 months. And then I went to Tennessee. I went to Fort Campbell, good old 101st, 100 and worst if anyone has been there. It sucks. Um, and then I was like, oh, dude, this is sick. We were on a patch chart. So for anyone who's not familiar, it just means going on another deployment. I was like 3 and 4 years. Sign me up. I'm there. Ended up going to, first got into some pretty heavy shit, which we'll cover in the mental health aspect, I'm sure, but it involves an arrest and lots of drinking to,
Heck yeah.
Band-Aids on stuff that needed tourniquets. Then went to the border for a year, worked in Laredo, Texas,
Yep.
and then came back and came down on orders to Alaska. And I was like, no, I'm not sleeping outside in Alaska. This is where I'm going to draw the line. I stayed long enough to get my shoulder and bicep repaired. Got out, went to a trade school up in Boise, back down to Tennessee for a few months, almost a year. And then now I'm out in Phoenix. So major lifestyle changes, but it's awesome. And then this weekend here in Houston. So
Heck yeah.
yeah, cliff notes, but yeah.
Man, that's well said. That's probably one of the most elaborate and well timed deliveries I think I've had so far. So shout out to you on that, man. That's good. You said a lot, and a lot of the things I do plan to circle back to, especially the angry, emotional part, and as we mentioned, some of that deeper stuff. So thanks for all that and giving everyone a little synopsis of you. I guess on the really just kind of get the train rolling here. Let's talk about staying connected to people. How do you think we, as we have, like I said, mentioned, gone 6 years without seeing each other, but the connection now here sitting next to you and all day today has been just like it was 6 years ago. So I know a lot of people talk about connection and its value, and it just can be tough, right? Especially as in the roles we had in the military, getting out and you go sometimes 6 years, sometimes longer without seeing some of these guys. Some of these people who know you better than anybody else in the world. So yeah, just how do you stay connected? And we guess we can talk through how we've stayed connected, but what are some good ideas you have?
I think a good way that we, as veterans have stayed connected is through trauma bonding, man. we went through the shit together, whether it was, field training or, sleeping at the cuff because we were out training too late at night, or
they tell us we can't drive home, even though we had to drive them.
But you can stay 24 hours at work and you have to stay awake the whole time and drive home the next day. It doesn't make sense. But I think that's changed now. But I'm far removed, so I don't know. I think it's changed. I hope it changes. And then deployments, is stuff that bonds you together, being treated like a piece of equipment. Because at the end of the day, that's ultimately what you were. You were either performed or you didn't.
Yep.
But in terms of staying connected in today's day and age, you and I have stayed connected through social media for the most part. We follow each other on Instagram, friends on Facebook, Snapchat, whatever. And then you and I really actually, had a deep connection. I think 2020. I remember because I was at the border, and you had some stuff going on, especially with, the internal realization of what was going on overseas with the pullout, and I think you and I became what I would consider brothers, bonding over that, and our realization that what we had spent our early days in was gone to shit. So,
oh man,
yeah,
hell yeah. So I think what we can simply say is great connection can be derived from enduring things together, right? And kudos to the Army or the military or any hard job of giving you those ample opportunities to do that. Endure something kind of shitty together, and that's what. So that's definitely how Zach and I became indirectly connected to at that level. But then we have a lot to talk about on that during 2020 and the pullout. There was, I think, just a soft way to just skim the surface. There is just a lot of mixed emotion.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
feeling. I guess conflicted is the only word that makes sense there on what did all that stuff mean and how am I supposed to feel about this and why am I left with this pent up sense of so many different emotions simultaneously. But we will definitely come back to that. So
Perfect.
Because that's there's a lot
Make
there.
a note.
Yeah, literally. what role has friendship and our friendship played during, I guess, during the last 6 years collectively, or 7, 8 years we've known each other?
Um, I would say it's played a pretty big one. I mean, I know that I've come to you a couple times with, fitness questions,
Mhm.
or like, hey, dude, my mental health isn't doing too good, or like, hey,
Yeah.
bro, like, I just need someone to talk to about some
Yeah.
bullshit that happened at work, and you've been there. Whether it's like you respond right away or you respond 6 to 12 hours later, it doesn't matter. You
Yeah.
still get the response in. You take the time to make a call,
Yeah.
and I feel like I've done a pretty good job at returning. It's not a favor, but
Yeah.
returning that to you.
Mhm.
And I just think it's, what you and I have, and so many of us with our friends should have, is that strong bond. Because at the end of the day, how you treat your friends is everything.
Yeah. No, definitely. Yeah, I think you said well there. Yeah, it's not a favor. It's like that's what I provide, and inversely you provide because we care about one another.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've heard a lot of people ask the question like, "What makes a good friend?" or "How do I know I have a good friend?" Right? And I think, like you said, and what you touched on there was that I can come to you with these things like, "Hey, like man, like mentally I'm just not feeling. Like I just need somebody I can kind of let these things out to,
Yeah.
and know that there's not going to be any like brash judgment or anything negatively faced towards me or
Yeah.
or anything of consequence, unless it's needed, right?
Mhm.
But if just a hey, like hey man, like I don't even if I whatever I'll say is like hey man, like I just kind of feel like I want to kill myself today,
Yeah.
and it's like not necessarily that I'm actually physically gonna do it. It's like but this like thought of like man, I just don't want to fucking do life.
It's a shitty day.
Yeah,
It's a
and
shitty day. And you just want someone to hear you.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I think that's definitely, as you said, something we've both provided to one another on. It doesn't, and in a sense, it's not always immediate. It's just the fact of like, I know if I were to ever word a text in a certain way, I would be able to get hold of you pretty instantly,
Mhm.
and inversely on your end as well. If you ever said a certain string of words
Yeah.
in a manner, I would immediately
Yeah.
call you and be like, "What the fuck's going on?"
Yeah, absolutely.
So like you said, I think a friendship is great, and it's because that's all we have is the connections and the bonds that we share
Mhm.
with the people that we're close to in our life. Definitely something that's undervalued, and overlooked. So take care of your friends, treat them well,
Mhm.
especially if you care about them. Let's kind of start on some army BS here. Now that you've kind of had some time away,
Yeah.
um, I guess what can you look back on from the army, and do you feel were some of the most impactful experiences that you had?
Oh man. The people.
Definitely.
I think growing up without a dad around, it presents challenges for a young boy.
100%.
And I mean, I had some good role models, like male role models in my life, but they're older gentlemen,
Yeah.
my grandfather, my godfather. So it's like, they're not going to want to go out in the yard and play fetch,
Yeah.
or I guess not fetch. I'm not a dog.
Yeah. Throw the ball
But
around.
yeah. Or like, do whatever. So when you get into the army, you have these leaders and you have these strong leaders. And we're not talking the shitty ones. The shitty ones can go kick rocks.
Facts.
They can fuck right off. But you have those good leaders, and you and I shared a really good leader with, we'll just call him ZH. We know who
Yeah.
we're talking about.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Amazing dude.
And I've had a few other really good ones from there, so the people, absolutely the people, the experience of seeing how other people live in the world
Yeah.
is massive. It makes you really grateful for what we have here in America. It makes you extremely proud to be an American.
Mhm.
And it teaches you to not take things for granted. So that's huge. At the end of the day, I'm happy I got 4 walls, a roof, and some AC.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It is because there's so many people who don't get
Don't
any don't even have the walls, let
No.
alone the AC
Or
or a roof.
plumbing. They
Yeah.
just go out in the yard. They go out in their street and drop trowel.
Mm-hmm.
um, but those leaders, I mean, circling back to the leaders, they were the ones that like taught me what it meant to be.
Like, what does a good man look like?
What does a good man look like?
Mhm.
What does he do? How does he treat others? It was the early days or early days for us, and the army
Mhm.
was still kind of hard and lots of yelling, lots of name calling.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you needed those guys. They had your back, and all they were trying to do was toughen you up for what was on the other side of the pond. Had it come down to that, they wanted you to be the most squared away person you could be, and the most squared away man. They wanted you to be the best version of yourself. And so for those guys, I don't have to say any names. I
Yeah.
hope they know who they are, but thank you.
Yeah.
You know.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I love that, man. Yeah, I think for me, any person I've ever asked vet wise, old, young, or indifferent, it's always the people. You know, it's like I don't miss the shit, I miss the guys,
Mhm.
right? Or I miss the people if you worked in a non-male MOS.
Mhm.
So definitely the people. I share your sentiment on perspective of the world, right? So young for us to go overseas, see what we saw, do the things we did. Just like you said, completely provide a perspective of like, fuck, this is how, you know, like we're so naive because
Mhm.
if you've never left the U.S., the rest of the world's not such a great place.
Mhm.
But inversely, I think for me, it was a little bit on the flip side of seeing that like, wow, these people who I thought would like hate me are actually some of the nicest people I've ever met. I think that was also like the
Yeah.
perspective was like I've been told like anybody who looks like that is bad, and it was like, God, this guy doesn't speak the same language as me, doesn't know anything about me, and treats me better than people I've known half my life.
Just giving me bread to give me bread.
Yeah,
You know.
even though when they don't have shit to give anyway.
Yeah.
Like that's literally all they have, and they're giving it to you.
Yeah.
So it was perspective in unspeakable ways.
Mhm.
You know, from a like you said, I like that you touched on gratitude there, like just being grateful and seeing like, wow, this is the world I thought I knew. I now am being exposed to so much more, and I know nothing.
Completely different. Perspective is opened.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think it's so good to have that younger because I think it definitely with me has helped me succeed and like push through things that are like trivial,
Mhm.
you know, on now the other side of life, with like college and like my career now,
Mhm.
that people are like, oh, that's so hard, and it's like,
Mm-mm.
and this ain't shit.
Mm-mm.
This is so easy.
I mean, we talked about this today in the car.
Yeah.
This ain't shit.
Yeah, like this is such a hard day is
It ain't
so
shit.
relative.
Yeah.
Right. And so just being able to pull back on those experiences and those memories and those emotions and be like, it could be so much worse than it is right now.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I love the gratitude, love that the people, huge one there. I think to segue to what's next. Excuse me, hold on. I think what skills did you gain? So we talked a little bit about like what was the most impactful, but like what do you think if you had to like kind of
Yeah.
put tangibility to a skill that you really got out of the army, minus the maybe like understanding physicality a little bit more
Mhm.
and training and things of that nature. What's something that exists in everyday life that we get to use all the time?
Yeah. I got two really big ones.
Go ahead.
Two really, really big ones. Discipline.
Okay.
Discipline is a huge,
Mhm.
I don't know if this is the right term, so no one chop my freaking head off, but adage to have for your life,
Mhm.
you know? And the second would be attitude.
Yeah.
No matter what you're going through, no matter how shitty it is, how you're feeling about it, how someone else is feeling about it, if you have a good attitude, you're going to get through it just fine.
Mhm.
You know, it might suck for whatever time it sucks for.
Mhm.
But as long as you have a good attitude at the end of the day, or at least find the positive in something, which plays into attitude,
Yep.
then it's not that bad. It's really not that bad,
It's not.
you know? So I would say those two things are huge. And I know they're probably not tangible skills. It's not like I'm going to go out there and build a house with
No.
discipline and attitude,
Yeah.
but I might be
I
able
mean-
to pour some foundation,
But
you know?
but I think maybe you could though, right? Because if you have the discipline to do the work and the attitude to realize that it's not going to happen in a day and it's going to be hard and it's going to take some time, like those two things will help you get there. So maybe tangible wasn't the right word for me to use there. So, but that's exactly you gave me what I was looking for. For me, I'd say discipline, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it's helped me be. I think a skill I will often say that I think I have in spades is resiliency.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else I feel like I'm kind of mid at, right?
Fiercely mid.
Fiercely mid in anything else. That's a phrase of the day. Hashtag that one. But the army really helped me build up that discipline to be so much more resilient. So whereas like nothing could ever like fully stop me. I may like walk or crawl or be dragging myself through whatever life was presenting me at that moment, but I was never stopped.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was huge for me. And I think I really I didn't say I've struggled, but there's a lot that I don't initially catch. And for a long time, I was kind of bitter and a little unhappy with how some of my experiences in the army. And so it took me a long time to really like step back and gain the perspective, be like, okay, what did I actually get from this thing? You know, it's kind of like if you have a relative you look up to and you're like, you don't want to associate anything to them, even the good parts of them, but the reality is even the worst person has like good traits. And so it took me a while to be able to do that with the army. But I like you said attitude. Man, it's something I never thought about, but I think,
Yeah.
I guess to me, it's like it's wrapped in perspective is maybe why I don't see it as much.
Yeah.
But it's like that perspective is so huge.
I mean, how often do you hear people say attitude?
I mean, never,
Because
honestly.
it's one of the things that it's a forethought,
Yeah.
or an afterthought.
Yeah, or it's just like it's encompassed
Yeah.
in perspective to me,
Mhm.
right? And but I like that you bring it up because, like you said, the problem is the problem regardless of the attitude you have.
Mm-hmm.
Like the problem doesn't get more complex because you have a negative attitude to it.
Yeah.
Right. It feels harder,
Mm-hmm.
but in reality, like the weight or the value of the problem is still the same. So if
Yeah.
it was a 3 before you walked up to it and you were pissed off, it's still a 3.
Yeah.
Just you now are negative and shitty and pissy, and so it feels like it's a 6 all of a sudden. But if you walked up to it happy and like, I'm ready to just take on the challenge, it would still be a 3.
Yeah. And
Right.
I think a good analogy I use is you blow a tire on the road. It sucks. That sucks, especially if you live in a hot state in the summer. It sucks. You're sweaty. Maybe you're going somewhere and you don't want to be sweaty or stinky. But guess what? At the end of the day, it's going to be okay. Change the tire.
Yeah.
If you go over to it pissed off, it's going to make it so much worse. You're going to be in the heat longer because now you're fumbling instead of just being like, man, that sucks. Well, I guess I'll just change this tire and get on with my day, So,
I think in that similar vein, a lot of things that I've been adamantly focusing on in my life today are like letting go of the things I can't control.
Mhm.
It's like, oh, I should have done this then, or if that hadn't happened, if my tire hadn't blown, like I'd have been at this place by now. And it's like, well, focusing on what you can control.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't control that, so like taking any aggression to it, or like it doesn't mean you can't have the feeling of like, oh, this sucks, because yes, it is inconvenient, it is not ideal, but just like you take your 5 seconds, like, oh fuck, all right, now like move on, like create action.
yeah,
Like, okay,
absolutely.
it's time to change the tire. I can't just sit here and like scream and yell and be pissed off and like throwing my hands up, because that's not actually going to make anything happen for you.
It's going to make it worse.
Exactly.
Your day's going to be spoiled now because of
Yeah.
your attitude towards something.
Exactly.
And it's funny that you say like it's outside of your control, because I'm a big believer in like if it's out of like your realm of control. So what are the big things you can control? You can control yourself. You can control your emotions, how you react to things, and maybe a few other tangibles. But again, going back to the tire, you can't control that tire blew. So why are you going to waste the energy getting all pissed off over something that you can't control? You can control how you react to it.
Yeah.
You can control how you emote to it. I think I'm using that right.
Yeah.
Again, like I said, not the smartest, but you can control how you emote to it.
And how you move forward.
And then how you move forward. Yeah.
I like that, man. I love it. So this is a question that I've been asked about, and it's something I want to touch on with you, because it's, like I said, one of those things that I want to bounce off somebody else and see if we're in alignment, or if I'm just a fucking idiot. Could be either one. We'll find out.
Well, I'm an idiot, so
well, we're gonna go far. In like when we zero a weapon, right? The first shot's never gonna be on, right?
Yeah.
Like it's you know that when you're zeroing the weapon, like the first shot's gonna be off, and you're gonna have to make an adjustment, and then you're probably gonna have to take a couple more shots, make a couple other adjustments, left, right, up or down, whatever, to get you more aligned. So the question is like, how do you have an aim on something in life? And I like, for me, zeroing weapons like as a great, like a very easy, and for our minds, like works very well with that analogy. It's like if I'm pursuing anything that I want to, let's just say, improve in my life, the first shot I take at it, I'd be foolish to think that it's just going to be locked in on the first shot. Like, there's no way, because I don't, like, even if I know everything there is to know about an M4, just because I know everything there is to know about it doesn't mean that the weapon is just zeroed.
Yeah.
Right. And like with, if you drop your weapon, like you can lose your calibration. Like if you stop maintaining or putting in the effort to the thing that you're trying to improve or work towards, like it can lose its calibration. They're going to have to recalibrate it again.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that you forgot how to do that. It only becomes a problem if you forget how to zero the weapon. Right. And so I guess, what are your thoughts on like taking an aim on something in life and how to navigate it?
Trial and error.
Agreed.
Try it. If you fail, fuck it. Try again. You fail again, fuck it. Try again. Attitude. If you're going to be poopy about it because you failed, then you're going to be poopy about anything. Fuck it. Try again.
I like to live in the outcome scenario of win or learn, which is it's presented by Alex Ramosi, but he says like there's no true like failures in life. It's like either you win and you do the thing, or you learn and you become that much closer to actually doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Or like you said, like don't be poopy, fuck it, do it again. Zach's
Yeah.
giving the real life answer. I'm the one fluffing it.
Yeah.
But
I'm an idiot. I'm going to put it down. Like we talked about in the truck, my favorite acronym of all time, KISS. Keep it stupid simple, because I'm simple.
Yeah.
I'm a simpleton.
But I think that's just a good way to approach
Yeah.
a lot of problems in life, because it's like I talked about last week with Jordan, is usually it's the simple answer is almost always the right answer anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm obsessed with that, like win or learn.
Yeah.
Because like there isn't a failure. If you like, yeah, because your first shot didn't hit the hit the bullseye doesn't mean that like you're any less capable or doing the wrong thing. It's like it was the first shot.
Yeah.
And if it takes you the whole magazine to get there, like one okay, maybe you're having an off day, or
your fundamentals are a little fucked up.
Yeah, but like, or maybe it's been a while since you've zeroed a weapon, and so you're a little off, or you're a little overzealous with how you're going. 20 up, like
20 up.
I don't know if it's 20 up. Maybe let's start with like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Right. If we're missing that low.
Yeah. I would say, I'm still sticking to the trial and error, but if you fail, micro adjustments.
Yeah.
Micro adjustments, unless it's like you said, like it's way off.
Yeah. You're just
like, let's say like you want to run a mile and you don't even make it 500 feet.
Yeah.
Well, you need to make some fucking major adjustments.
Yeah.
But you want to run a mile and you're gassed at, let's say 0.9. It's a micro adjustment.
Yeah.
Don't stop at 0.9. Fucking keep going.
Yeah.
That's just how my process in life is too. So
like you said, micro adjustments, but are just like controlling the variables, right? If especially if you're not sure exactly what is the perpetuating problem, changing 5 things at once isn't going to tell you which one was the one, right? So it's that micro that's okay. Well, I'll change this thing. Now do I have a different result? And it's like if you have 5 things that you could see, I think one of these 5 is the thing. Then you have to be accepting and willing to do it 5 more fucking times at least, because again, will you think you're just that good that you guessed right on the first one? Like, no, probably not, right? And maybe it won't take you all 5. Maybe you get lucky it's the first one, but you have to be accepting that I could have to do this at least 5 times to make it set an inch of gain.
I mean, dude, again, like back to running, you could want to run that mile, you come up short. It could be 5 things. It could be your hydration levels. Are you hydrated? Are you eating right? Are you eating like a fatty McFatty and just pounding burgers and fries and, just filling your body full of shit? Are you actually conditioned? Are you overzealous and, trying to go for this goal when you haven't even got off the couch in 6 months?
Yeah.
So you do have to make those micro adjustments, and it's one at a time until you've zeroed in on the issue at hand. For most people, it's simple shit.
Yeah.
That they're just fucked up on. And it takes a simple fix, and guess what? It's so much better.
It does. Yeah, like you said, the overzealous goal thing, I think it's not bad to have lofty goals, right? If if you can barely run a mile and you're like, I want to run a marathon, like that's a great goal to have. But understand that there's an extensive amount of work between you and that goal. Not unattainable, but again, making sure that you're setting the right expectations to reality.
Yeah.
Again, because if you don't, I talked about this with a good friend. You remember old Tulos? I talked to him the other day, and we talked about this. It's like who's causing these. Him and I spoke about how in the first podcast I talked about like not being enough and that fear and that whatnot. And I said, look around you, and if you can look around you and there's nothing else applying that pressure to you, that's like, oh, I'm failing, I'm not enough. Is it you? Are you putting this unattainable goals and standards on yourself that are just unattainable in every aspect? And so it's like you're the one causing yourself to feel that way, right? And that's like that's a segment, I guess, on the mental health piece, but it's something that I'm adamantly working towards. And I had an example of it the other day at work where I took too long, in my opinion. I usually reply to someone's email in like 10 minutes, and it took me 30 minutes to reply to this email. And in my head, I was like, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
You suck. You took too long. They're going to think less of you. And then the lady responded like 2 or 3 hours later, and her response was, thank you for the quick reply. So I had like the real life proof of like what my mind is saying to me versus like reality.
Yeah.
And it was like the first time that I knew I was hard on myself, and maybe, as we talked about, like had that how hard things can bond people together. You can like motivate yourself with some negativity, right? You and I definitely are some people who do that. Excuse me. But it was my first real like, oh shit, my mind is saying this, but this is reality. And I can't like refute it. It's real.
Yeah.
Like there's a discrepancy and it's me that's causing it.
Yeah.
So, oh, fuck. Okay, that started at AIM and we got a little off, but I don't know. It just kind of rolled there. So
That's all right.
I let it go.
Yeah.
Good stuff on the AIM bit though. I think, yeah, that's good. It's just micro adjustments, being willing to continue to try, right? Not accepting that, okay, I didn't get it on the first try or even the 10th try. Fuck, man, depending on how big of an aim you're either starting with a range of error, like how much you're trying to zero in on. Like if you're trying to be within a millimeter of something, like maybe it's 1,000 times you're gonna have to do it.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like the tighter the aim that you're wanting to, and I guess perfect, the more tries you have to be willing to put to it.
Yeah.
I like that. That was good. It was really good. I'd say, ooh, this is a good one here. What are some of the biggest challenges you face since leaving the Army? Maybe mentally, emotionally.
Oh man. So, and you know me, I joke about everything. So it's just the coping mechanism that I've developed over years of emotional abuse. Shout out U.S. government. Appreciate it.
DOD.
Yep. Love it. The first 3 months were awesome. Post separation.
You feel free.
I felt awesome. Dude, I'll say it. I was smoking weed.
Yeah.
I was going to school, trade school, living life. Easy. My hardest day was, I don't even know, dude. It was just so easy.
Yeah.
I was drinking a lot, whatever. And then I had the fortunate opportunity to go back to Tennessee where I'd ended my service down in Nashville. So only 45 minutes from where I was stationed. So I was still close to my friends. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And then those friends left. They deployed, they ETS, they PCS. For those of you who don't know, PCS is moving to a different station. ETS is they're done. They're out. They're gone. And then the identity crisis set in. Yeah. I didn't have my boys around anymore. Didn't have anyone to party with. So, and that was like a huge part of my identity because I had done it for so long, and this feeling of I'm not enough. So your first episode kind of struck with me a little bit on that one, but I'm like, I'm not enough. Like, what the hell did I do? I went to talk to another recruiter about getting back in.
Yeah.
I was considering because I had no idea who I was.
Yeah.
It doesn't help that, at the time I was in a situation that wasn't the best, and anyone who knows me knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Not going to go into detail on that here today because it's just not cool.
Yeah.
But, yeah, my mental health suffered, dude. It was bad. I didn't know who I was. I didn't have any friends. I had quit drinking essentially because I was like, well, I don't have anyone to drink with. I'm not going to drink by myself. That's sad.
Yeah. That means I actually have.
That means I have a problem, and heaven forbid I admit that, because then I have to go to get help, and that sounds scary. And I was sad, dude. I was so sad, and I didn't know it was depression until I started getting help because my mental health was so bad. I had gotten to a point where I had been before, but not actually taken steps towards that end goal.
Yeah.
And
sorry, go ahead.
I went and got help.
I guess if you don't mind me asking, how long did it take before you went and actually started seeking
a long time?
What's give us some tangible time on long time? Talking 6 months, a year.
See, I've been out. It was a year in March that I got out. 6 to 8 months.
6 to 8 months.
And it started hitting me around the 4 month mark, 5 month mark. So maybe 8 months closer to it because I suffered in silence for a while.
Yeah.
Just masked it, put a smile on my face, went about my day.
Yeah.
It can't be that bad.
Yeah.
At least I woke up today. You know what I'm saying? At least I got 4 walls of roof and some AC. Some plumbing that works, dude.
It does, man.
But yeah, I didn't know that I was sad.
Just thought that was the way
I
to
thought that's
exist.
how everyone was. I thought everyone
Yep.
felt the same way I did. Turns out it's depression.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's PTSD. It's, anxiety. I
Mhm.
didn't think I would ever have anxiety. I thought anxiety was for people that were just mentally weak. And I was like, I'm not mentally weak.
That's a little bitch shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that ain't me, you
Yeah.
know? And so it wasn't until I started going to therapy and the VA, they want to throw meds at you. I told them
Yep.
to kick rocks on that one.
Mhm.
I told you why. It's a little too vulgar for this, but
It's not vulgar. Go ahead, let us know.
uh,
Why did you want to get on the med, Zach?
the meds give you ED. I wasn't about it.
Zach said, "I fuck, so I can't have that happen."
This guy, he fucks. Sorry to anyone who sees this that loves me dearly.
Sorry, mom.
Sorry, she'll be all right. She'll think it's funny. She's just as kooky as I am.
Heck yeah.
So I just was raw dogging life, dude. Going to a PTSD clinic,
Mm-hmm.
and doing little tricks and little things to help me stay sane
Mm-hmm.
and taking that deep dive. Being disciplined.
Yep.
Managing my attitude. Managing the things inside my sphere of influence.
Yep.
Things I can control, and has helped me greatly. And I would say today still get sad.
Yeah.
But I'm about 90% better.
Yeah.
Most days.
There's a lot there.
Yeah, a lot to unpack.
Yeah, a lot to unpack. So I'll just go in reverse. So like what you said there, I think something good to know if you're someone who's really making the strides and fighting the good fight with your mental health, and you're coming out on proverbially the other side, and you're like, I'll never be sad again. It's like, no. Like sadness is just like every other emotion. Like it's going to be present in some aspect forever.
Yeah.
But there's a difference in I'm sad and I'm depressed.
Yeah.
Right. There's a reason to be sad. Like your dog dies. That's a reason to be sad. Right.
Yeah.
Or something bad happens to someone you care about. Like that's good. Like you should be sad there.
Yeah.
Like if you're not, then we'll get some other reasons to unpack. But sadness is just that, like, and I've seen a lot of other people talk about this and say that these emotions, they're not like a bug of life, right? Chris Williams says it. He says it's a feature. You feel these things. That's part of life. There's no amount of money, no amount of success, no amount of I'm this good at mental health that means you won't feel shitty again.
Yeah.
It's just being able to spin it around or look backwards and go, is this negative emotion or whatever I'm feeling tied to something?
Yeah.
Versus just me like stewing in this actual depression.
Yeah.
Right.
Dude, it's, and like you said, anyone who's fighting the good fight on that note, and I know it's your turn to talk. I'm sorry.
No,
this is really important. It's okay to feel things. For a long time, I just killed everything. I was like, no, I'm not feeling that way. I need to be this person, this way, this emotion. For a long time, when you're in the Army, it's don't ask, don't tell. It still is shut the fuck up and do your job. Or
grit and bear it.
Yeah, but if you are fighting that good fight, it's okay to feel.
Yeah,
it is okay to feel everything, and it's okay to feel everything at once. Sometimes it happens. It's how you react and how you manage it is what matters.
Yeah, you say a lot more that I like and I agree with and have come to light for me. I think that's been it sounds so stupid to say, but it's like one of my most recent discoveries is I feel multiple emotions at the same time. What the fuck is that? It's like all I ever thought I knew was like rage or sadness or pain, and it was just that. And then it was like, wow, I'm proud of someone on one hand, and I'm frustrated with them on the other hand. Like I'm proud because they did the thing that they've been working hard for, but I'm frustrated because of implicit impacts of that thing.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, there's two of these things called emotions at the same time. What the fuck is happening? I on the portion of like the Army does a lot of really good things on trying to make sure you know how to not step out in the world and fall on your face. But I think a lot of the areas they focus on, like anything, are not the best ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to know how to write a resume and stuff like that because, like, yeah, you need a job and you need something you can do when this is over. But if my mental health is absolutely a train wreck, it doesn't matter how good I can write this resume.
Yeah.
My fight was a lot longer, and the part of getting help. So I'm glad that you were able to find that. I guess to say a little quicker. It took me years to be willing to say something's wrong with me.
I think there was always something a little wrong, but I was such in the thick of the bullshit
Yeah.
that I had other priorities. I had,
Yeah.
soldiers, myself, my friends,
Mm.
my dog,
Yeah.
everything else to take care of. And I put myself on the back burner. And it wasn't until life slowed down that both like mentally and physically, like these issues started to arise.
Mhm.
And, I'm happy.
Yeah.
It was a shorter time, and I'm sorry yours was longer,
No.
but, you know,
No, I'm not seeking the
it's
sympathy. I'm saying it to say that for those people who maybe
get the help.
that Zach's timeline feels a little expedited. I mean, it is, but it's good that it was. Mine was. I came home. He mentioned he was still pretty close to Campbell, so he was still kicking it with the boys.
Yeah.
When I got out, I came home. There's no one around.
Yeah.
So I was immediately alone.
Yeah.
Right. That there was no one to like still shoot the shit with or do the drinks or any of that. It was immediately alone, and that's how I think most people's life goes. They go back to where they're from, and you're immediately by yourself. There's not that support system of the guys are 30 minutes up the road or whatever. And we always say, and I think it's genuine. I believe it's genuine. It's like, hey, call me or whatever else. But if you're really in that space and struggling to that capacity, it's very paradoxical because you want nothing more than to not feel alone, but calling someone feels like such a burden.
You don't want to pass it on.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're like, they got their own shit. They're fighting whatever they're dealing with.
Yep. They got their own life.
And these people pretty well. So you're like, oh, I know Tommy's already having problems with his wife.
Yeah.
Oh, I know he's got shit with his kids. I know he's still in the army. Like, and they're fucking him 6 ways to Sunday. So like, last thing he needs is me to call and like
add something out.
Yeah, bitch about it because he's already got enough going on. Like that grit and bear it mindset of I got 4 walls and a roof and some AC, and it's like again that perspective is then used in an unhealthy manner, or to where you're dismissive of yourself.
Yeah.
So it was a much slower journey for me though. More than a couple of years before I ever even began to think, wow, something's wrong with me, with some heavy use of alcohol and some non-prescribed substances that I can't even speak.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, a lot of days of just feeling like I don't want to do it anymore. But like you said, that I think the Army kept me alive in that way because I was like, well, I'm alive.
Yep.
And that's better than some people.
Could be worse.
Yeah. And I think if I hadn't had that like mental toughness forced upon me,
yeah,
I wouldn't be here. There's like no shot.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I still sometimes wonder like, I'm fucking here today. That's wild. Like I look back on it and like we were in some dark days for a long time, and we were really riding the fence on throwing the dice and gambling on life.
We jumped the fence once
and came back.
I got thrown back over.
They didn't want me either.
Thankfully, but they were like, "God, this dude fucking sucks. Get him out of here."
But he does fuck.
But he does fuck, and he hates the grass.
Fuck the grass. That's a way. That's our unhealthy sense of humor coming out to try and lighten the blow of the depth of the shit we're speaking on.
Mentally unill.
Yeah. No, but I guess for anybody else out there, mental health's not a joke. It's okay to feel. It's okay if you're struggling, and it's okay to seek help for that.
Yeah.
Like please do. You don't have to do it alone. And I know a lot of those resources aren't seen as, again, like like therapy's BS and it's not real. I plan to have a therapist on in the next few episodes to kind of break down some of those nuances.
Good. I fucking hated therapy.
Yeah.
I hated it.
Well,
it's great though.
It is. And I've been seeing the same woman for a little over 2 years now.
Nice.
And I've made immense progress collectively in my mental and emotional health with her. And so much of it is tied in. Like it's just like another relationship. Like there has to be a fit. So, and if you don't have a good fit with the first person that you go see and try to have a conversation with, it doesn't mean that therapy's a bunk.
See another one.
Yeah. See another
Trial
one.
and error.
Exactly.
I have a question.
Go ahead, man.
Does your therapist challenge you?
All the time.
Good. That's a good therapist.
It's a great therapist.
My first therapist did not challenge me at all. Just went with everything I said, and I was lying through my fucking teeth.
Yeah. So you there's nothing to gain.
There's nothing.
And so that's another thing I can tell you with therapy is most people go to therapy because someone else is saying, hey, you need to go.
Yeah.
Like very few people actually get and make the decision to like, hey, I need to do this for me. And however you got there, I mean, it's irrelevant. You're there. So actually get something out of it. But you can only do that by like laying yourself bare and being vulnerable and like putting your shit out there.
Yeah,
And
dude.
sure, it's not fun. It's not easy. It's definitely not what the fuck you want to do, especially if you're in that kind of mental position
Yeah.
already. But if you start bullshitting it and lying and avoiding purposefully, like you said, a good therapist should challenge you and they'll pull it out of you anyway because they're better at that. They're mentally in a position you're not. That's why they're on the other side.
Dude, it's so funny. So the first therapist I went to, like I said, lied through my fucking teeth.
Mm-hmm.
Scripted everything in my car on the way to the appointments.
Yep.
I was thinking of some bullshit. How's everything going? Good.
Yeah.
Fine. You doing great today? Yeah, I'm doing fucking fantastic.
Love life.
Just loving life. Sun shining, air's crisp. I'm good, Didn't challenge me. And I was like, man, this is some bullshit. I'm done fucking going.
Mm-hmm.
So I quit going.
Yep.
I went back because I felt like I needed something. I don't know what it was.
Yeah. I felt like you had some unfinished business.
Yeah. And I think it was like the competitiveness in me that was like, you're losing, and it's because your brain sucks right now.
Mm-hmm.
You're having a bad brain day. That's what I call my bad days. Bad brain days.
Yeah.
Every fucking day.
Mm-hmm.
You need to get better.
Yeah.
So I went back and I found this woman, and she's fantastic. I went into the first day saying bullshit, lying through my fucking teeth because I don't want to talk about my feelings. Mm-hmm. I don't want to talk about what's actually bothering me.
Yeah.
First 20 minutes, we're asking questions, just simple intake questions and stuff. And then she starts to ask me a couple other questions, and I do my bullshit. Mm. She puts her pen and pad down. She goes, "You're a fucking liar." Word for word called me a fucking liar.
Good.
I said, "Excuse me?" She's like, "You're fucking lying to me right now." And I was like, "I'm paying you to listen to me." And she's like, "Yeah, but you're lying."
Yeah.
She's like, "If you're going to lie, you can get the fuck out."
Oh, yeah.
She was a veteran.
Fuck yeah. Of course she was.
Yeah. And so she knows it. She knows it through and through. And she called me on my bullshit. And it's been it'll be a year in a couple months that I've been with her consistently.
Yeah.
She's fucking rad.
Yeah.
She's in Tennessee, but we FaceTime every other week.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm lying, she fucking knows it, dude. She is, for lack of better words, a rough bitch. Yeah. But she's awesome and I need it. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's good to have, like you said, there's signs of a good therapist, and one of them is that they will challenge you. And they will, through learning you and going through those times with you, will be able to better navigate you and pull those things out of you in the ways that are appropriate and in the time structured manner that's best, so that you can move forward and you can get better. Yeah, man, I don't know. I face a lot of the same issues, right? Getting out and then feeling like, who am I? What is my life? What do I do? What am I good for?
Yeah.
What value do I owe, or can I give to anyone? Do I owe, but can I give any value to anyone? Like
purpose.
Yeah. You feel like it's just kind of snatched away from you. Mm-hmm. So again, any guys that are getting out, struggling with those feelings of purpose and value and who am I, that's normal. Like, don't think something's wrong with you because you feel that way.
A very famous SEAL, maybe you've seen him, maybe you haven't. His name is DJ Shipley. Mm-hmm. He says you lose three things when you get out of the military. You lose your service, you lose your friends, you lose yourself. And that is...
any one of those things at one time
is hard.
Yeah.
All three of them at once.
Fucked.
Miserable.
Yeah.
So, shout out DJ.
Shout out DJ. For real. Great dude. I don't know him, but love his...
I'm sure he's great. Yeah.
Undoubtedly.
He fucks.
He fucks. But yeah, so we're just trying to bring light to these things and let other people know, like, hey, it's okay, it's normal to feel these things. There's nothing wrong with you because you feel them, and there's nothing wrong with you to seek help for them. Mm-hmm. Like, please do. You know, enough people, unfortunately, as we both know, aren't here because they thought they had to just do it themselves.
Yep.
And they thought that something was wrong with them.
Bullshit. It just passes it on to somebody else.
Yeah. And it sounds mean to say, but I'm a proponent of saying it, and I'll take whatever flack comes my way for it. But if you knew, what's the right way to phrase this? If you knew the volume or the true impact of that decision you made, you would take it back in a heartbeat. Because the wake of damage you leave behind.
Yeah.
You know, you think, oh, I'm doing everyone this service. You know, they don't need me. I'm a burden, especially to those people out there with a wife and or children or a husband and children. Even everybody's got a mom
Yeah.
or a dad, right?
You have someone that loves you.
It's someone, and it may feel genuinely like there's no one, but I promise
Someone
you,
out
there's
there loves
someone.
you.
Yeah, and the cataclysmic damage you're doing to them.
It's funny, dude. So only a few people in my life know about this, but I have an attempt.
Yeah.
I jumped that fence. Pills and alcohol.
Mm.
Woke up the next morning and I was like, man, I can't even fucking kill myself the right way.
Yeah.
Worst hangover in my life. Very sad that I didn't, pass back then. But now this is why I got into therapy. I felt myself getting that way. And same thing. It's like, dude, what the fuck would my mom have done? What would my
Yeah.
little brother have done?
Yeah.
My grandpa, who is essentially my father figure, he would have been destroyed. My mom would have, when I told my mom, she said, when I finally got the balls to tell my mom, because I thought she was going to beat the shit out of me, it was a late car drive one night. And I don't know what brought it up.
Yeah. Just felt right.
It just felt right. I looked at her and I said, hey, Mom, there's something I got to tell you, and she was like, okay. And I was like, hey, I just want to let you know a couple months ago, I tried to kill myself. And this was, I was still in.
Yeah.
So didn't tell anyone, didn't go to get help for it because I didn't want anything on my record. I was scared of punishment.
Yeah.
Hindrance to my career, what was then thought was going to be my career.
Yeah. And the growth and the negative things that
come with it. Being called a pussy.
Yeah.
A week, good for nothing.
You can't
waste of space. Yeah. And she said, okay. She's like, well, I'm glad you woke up. And I said, yeah, I'm glad I woke up too. And she goes, if you ever fucking do that shit again, though, I'll fucking kill you. I made a joke and I said, well, I'd already be dead. She says,
I'll bring you back.
She said, I brought you into this world. I'll do it again and I'll fucking kill you myself. And it put it into perspective for me because I always knew my mom loved me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it put me into perspective, like how much her love for me was and like how devastated she would have been.
Oh, yeah.
Had I passed. And then she brought it into light, like your brother, he looks up to you. You're his world.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think he would have done?
Yeah.
The trickle effects.
Yeah.
Down the line, even up the family tree, down the line, adjacent to you, your left and right. How do your friends feel?
Yeah.
How do, let's say you're dating someone. How do they feel? How does it affect them for the rest of their life? Now they have to go through their life saying, oh, my boyfriend or girlfriend
killed
fucked me up.
Yeah.
Because they killed themselves. Please don't kill yourself. But I think in terms of mental health, I'm grateful I got there.
Yeah.
Because now my perspective of life is, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. And it's easy to say that.
Yeah.
It's easy to say that.
After you've walked to the edge of the cliff.
Once you, jump the fence and been back, it's easy.
Yeah.
It's just, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy that I'm alive today. Love it.
I
love living. For some reason, dude, like living is just,
it's become fucking
it's fiercely mid, dude. It's pretty sick.
It's fiercely mid.
Taxes suck, but everything else is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I'm happy I was there because now I can be that voice of reason to friends. I've had friends who've come up to me and are like, dude, I'm not doing well. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude, I've been there.
Yeah.
Let's get you sorted out, man.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, I'll start by saying I'm glad you're here.
Thanks.
I fucking love you, man. I'd be a fucking train wreck if you weren't here. So.
Love you too, buddy.
And yeah, to anyone else in that boat, I'll say is, yeah, you have people that care about you, that love you, and don't forget that. Yeah, and like you said, I the analogy I like is the walk to the edge of the cliff and back. Is if you walk to the edge of that cliff, as a lot of people don't turn around and walk back, right? Most of themselves, they throw themselves over. So if you guys, another phrase, dance with the devil, right? You get the honor to dance and not get taken by it, right? To not get and not fall off the edge of that cliff, and you get to walk back as you have something most people don't, right? And to be able to continue to share that and give it back to other people, right? So that they don't have to take the gamble, right, and walk to the edge. Yeah, I think that's what I try to let other people know is like, I can tell you whatever you want to know. I can tell you.
I've been there.
Yeah. Like I can tell you, and so you don't need to go find out.
Yeah, I think it was Jordan Peterson that said it, but maybe he's quoting someone. I heard it in a stitch. But But you stare into the abyss long enough, the abyss stares back. And it's true. If you don't readjust your focus and you're only looking at the negatives, the dark, whatever you want to call it, being poopy, being sad, then that's all you're going to see. Quit breaking your neck, look up, enjoy the fucking sunlight once in a while.
That's one. It is Jordan Peterson. It's one of my favorite quotes. It's something I've probably spent an unhealthy amount of time on dissecting and breaking down. And I'll speak into existence. One day I'll ask him about it because I have a lot of really just deep questions I want to ask. But you're right. Like when you gaze into it, it does also gaze back into you. And so it does, I think, do a number on compounding and expanding your perspective. Like that's what it gives you, because you get to see, like, when you dance with death, you get to see what the potential outcomes, or what could happen if I did this.
Yeah.
What would life be? And I think people get caught in that dance, and they're already like too hooked in by the time they start to realize.
Yeah.
You know, and it's rough to say, but it's like the amount of people that you hear about that, you know, they hang themselves and there's nothing. Then they do the autopsy and they have like gouge marks on their neck from where they tried to like like get it out. Right? It's like the moment they just realized it like a second too late. Right? It's like
not that bad.
Yeah. It's like when it's really faced with like, oh shit, this could be it. It's like, actually, I don't want that. Right? And the best phrase I've ever heard to it, and I probably heard it at the most optimal time I could have heard it, because it was around 2019, 2020, when I was heavily abusing multiple things. And it says, remember that when you want to kill yourself, you don't want to kill you. You want to kill something inside of you. And I saw that doom scrolling about 3 a.m. one night. And
that's about right. Checks out.
The algorithm knew. But
it always does.
But it I don't know, it just ate at me for a long time.
Yeah.
Where I was like, and I think if I'd never heard that, I probably would have never really think to seek out help in time. And I realized, like, yeah, I don't want to die. I just want this thing inside of me that's causing me all this pain and all this hurt to go away.
Yeah.
But then, as I've spoke about before, is sometimes that thing was me. Like, you know, yeah, sure, life had dealt me some not so useful cards, but I was also then like just sitting there holding on to it. It's like, there's another hand ready to be dealt. I'm just too busy holding on to the old one.
Yeah.
You know, and then bitching about how much it sucks. It's like, I'm making it worse. Like, this hand was played 4 years ago, and I'm still holding on to it.
Yeah.
Like,
can't let shit go.
Like, essentially, to quantify that, I would think the proper way to say it is, you get a new hand every day, basically. There's very few cards that stick around. It's like every day is a new hand. And I was holding on to the same one for years and bitching about it and complaining how it was fucking me. Like, well, I'm the one holding on to it. Jordan Peterson says, like, if the thing you're holding on to is hurting you, like, let go of it. Yeah. And it's like, I was just fucking clinched on it, going like, it's fucking me. It's hurting me. It's like, yeah, if I would grab the barbed wire, it's like, is the barbed wire hurting me, or is the thing I'm doing hurting me?
Sometimes you just gotta let the blood back into the knuckles, buddy.
Dude.
But let them be so white, you know? Give them some color. Relax.
That was good. I enjoyed that. Thank you. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad everyone who's fought and they're still here today, I'm glad you're here. Other people are glad you're here. And anyone who's still struggling, I want you to still be here tomorrow. So please seek the help. Have the hard conversation with yourself or with someone else. And it doesn't matter, like Zack said, you know, make those micro adjustments. Maybe if you're not willing to go to therapy tomorrow, like, okay, well, what are you willing to do? What are you capable of doing? Are you willing to say, like, hey, I'm not feeling that great? Okay, great. That's huge. Like it starts there. You know, you don't have to feel like you're alone, because I promise you, you're not.
Someone loves you.
Someone. I love you.
I love you.
Fucking A, we love you.
I'll give you a big old kiss and a hug.
A fucking wet one.
Right on the side of your neck.
I guess we've kind of, in that note, kind of ventured a bit.
Yeah.
But this next question I can think is encompassed in that, so I'll pose it as, and you've kind of covered it a bit, but how is your approach to mental health and mental well-being over the last, I guess I will say post-army, or just in your life, how has it changed as different phases of your life have gone?
Absolutely. Yeah, discipline, attitude,
Yep.
regiment.
Mm.
Regiment's huge for me. I know if my schedule is messed up, I start to get anxiety, like bad. Psychopath, wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, out the door to the gym.
You're a freak.
Go home. At the gym no later than 6 o'clock. I'm back at the house by 6:15. By 6:30, I've ate breakfast. Out the door by 7. At work by 7:30. That is my regiment every single morning, Monday through Friday. I don't veer from it within more than a couple of minutes. It is very structured.
Yep.
Because I know the rest of my day can go to complete shit and I won't have any fucking issues.
Yep.
Because I did this one thing that I do every day exactly the same, and it keeps me grounded.
Yep. So I think you'd say there's like having a plan.
Having a plan. Being disciplined.
Yep.
Having a good attitude. It sucks waking up at 4, dude. And the older you get, it doesn't get any fucking easier.
No,
it actually gets terrible. But if you just fucking do it, just do it.
Just do it.
It sucks, but just fucking do it. And then you'll get used to it. Yep. And then guess what? You start pushing yourself a little bit harder now. Micro adjustments.
Yep.
So
I would say, yeah, I think definitely what I was looking for was a little bit different, but it's still a good answer. I think what I was wanting to get was like, how is your view? Maybe that's a better way to say it, on mental health changed over the years. Because I think at first we can say,
yeah,
it was like this is fake. That's bullshit. It doesn't exist.
Absolutely.
Versus now, and then it was like, nah. And then when it gets in the thick of it and it really gets shitty, it's like, no, still denouncing it. This isn't real.
Yeah, dude. Absolutely.
Now.
I thought it was for, forgive me for my language. I was not the best person growing up. A bunch of fucking pansies.
Yeah.
A bunch of fairy tale bullshit that people just wanted to go and cry about their emotions because someone said something that hurt their feelings.
Because they couldn't handle it.
Yeah. Because they couldn't handle a little bit of adversity in their lives.
Yeah.
You know, because the worst thing that happened to them was someone told them fucking no, and it made them sad.
Yep.
I was an asshole.
Yeah.
Plain and simple, was a fucking asshole. And I thought it was for people who are weak. It's not until I was in the thick of it that I was like, holy shit.
This is real.
And it wasn't until post-attempt, and it wasn't even immediately that I sought help. It was, I heard a top tier level guy in the military talking about it. And he was talking about stuff. And I mean, his experience was drastically more sporty than mine was.
Definitely.
But if this dude is willing to go and get help, who is a bad motherfucker,
it was like, oh shit, this is real.
This is real. I can do it.
Yeah.
Why can't I? And I put everything in. It's an analogy I love to use, in a box on the beach. And I buried it in sand. Well, what happens when the tide comes in? Sand gets washed away. Box is there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I like that. I think for me, it was the same thing as I lived denouncing it for so long. Like, yeah, it's for people who are weak-minded, people who can't hack it, right? People who get told no, like that unhealthy relationship to toughness.
Yeah.
Right? Like, no, just be tough. Just be tough. Just be tough. Versus now, it's like, yes, be tough, but that doesn't mean that something's not wrong. Right? And toughness doesn't correlate to mental well-being. Some of the toughest people are the most mentally unwell, right? Because they've built almost too much of an unhealthy relationship collectively with being tough rather than still being mentally healthy, right? The negative emotions, those ill feelings, like, they're going to come. So it's better to be ready for them when they are versus acting like they're not there.
Yeah.
The analogy I like to give to people is similar to your box on the sand one, is your demons have unlimited stamina and you don't. So just when you're tired, they're not. So you can run all you want. When you're tired and you want to sit down, they're right in your fucking face, ready to go.
They're there.
And now you're tired.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, it's even worse.
You're
like you said
out.
earlier, it's like, yeah, I'm having a tough mental day. It's like, well, imagine that with motherfuckers who are like on 10 in your face, ready to go. And you're all tuckered out. Like, it's going to be a bad fight. You're going to get your ass whooped.
Yeah.
Right. And you may have still gotten your ass whooped if you just didn't run and turn around and fought them, but you could at least maybe felt better about your performance.
Yeah,
hey, I got a couple. I got a couple licks. Yeah, like,
I got some licks in.
Motherfucker didn't walk away for free. Versus if you, like, when you're gassed and they're start ganging up on you, like, you ain't doing nothing but just taking a beating.
Yeah, they're painting the street with you.
rough time. It's rough. So that's more of what I was looking for. So I'm glad we could get there. As we spoke on, mental resilience is crucial. Can you share a time maybe that we haven't covered that your mental resilience and mental toughness was tested and how you overcame it?
Hmm. That's great. I would probably say the whole reason I got out of like Nashville, you know, I'm not going to sit here and badmouth anyone or anything.
Yep.
But it was just a sticky situation that ended, and I stayed because I had nowhere else to go.
Mm.
And I was fucking miserable out there. Had a friend from back home move out there, which helped tremendously.
Yeah.
But it still sucked for me because it was like I couldn't go anywhere, do anything. Because I was reminded of that person every day.
Yeah, it's tough, man.
Yeah. And so it was kind of the mental fortitude and I guess resiliency to be like, all right, I need to make a change because if not, I'm going to continue to be sad.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to be a little down in the dumps. So yeah, I'd say that. And then realizing that like the best course of action for me was a fresh start.
Mhm.
And so I reached out to a family member who was able to get me a job out west in Phoenix, puts
Yep.
me working directly for them, which is, well, one step below them, two steps below them, but in the office with a family member every day, closer to family.
Mm-hmm.
And around two friends, when I moved to Phoenix, had two friends out there. Now I have a bunch through running.
Yeah.
Shout out everyone. I'm going to put this on my Instagram. I hope they listen to it
Heck
because
yeah.
I think they'll get a kick out of that little shout out, but they know who they are. But yeah, realizing I needed to get the fuck out of the East Coast.
Yeah. Okay. I like that, man. I wanna come back to some things we said earlier. It's something I've been toiling with,
Mhm.
and you spoke about it earlier, so that's why I want to bring it back up. So when you were introducing, or not introducing yourself, but when we kind of first started talking, you mentioned, I guess it was when you were introducing yourself. Sorry. Irregardless, you spoke on like being angry
Oh yeah.
in your youth. I came from that same thing.
Yeah.
A lot of anger, a lot of hate, pain, sadness, right? Anything negative, emotion based,
Yeah.
kind of was, as I call it, the fuel source for me in doing anything I've done in my life thus far. Right? It was either I'm going to prove someone wrong, I'm going to show them, or they said I can't.
I'll show you, motherfucker. Watch this.
Yeah. Watch.
Yeah.
And like we've already said, we've touched on it in multiple conversations we've had historically, is the relationship with negativity, right? Like, hey, grin and bear it, be tough, right? Using toughness in an unhealthy way. And so to get to my question, I guess is I've started to succeed in my life, right? And do a lot of things and prove that I'm the person that I'm saying I am, right? Not just for me, but to other people. So that whole well, I'm going to prove them wrong. It's like, well, I actually don't really care about them, like I thought I did. Like I don't care. And so the thing I'm struggling with, and I've even talked with my therapist about, and extensive amounts of times now recently, is curbing that source of fuel in my life from pain, aggression, fuck you, to gratitude and kindness and love, and how tough that is, because all you know is, well, this has always been here. One, this anger, this pain, this sadness, whatever. So, and it's worked.
Yeah.
To boot, right? So it's like, well, this is all that's ever been there. One, but then to kick it in the ass and make it even worse, I know it works, and it's like, but it will only take you so far.
Yeah.
Like there is a day where the shift has to occur,
Mm-hmm.
and the shift is brutal. I think the shift is worse than actually just the pain, and the hate and the sorrow, because you're like having to kind of give up essentially part of yourself, to realize, like, and it's necessary for the better version of you to become present.
Yeah.
But it's fucking hard.
It's tough.
Yeah. So I guess I just want to hear a little bit about your thoughts on that.
Yeah. So yeah, anger was a huge fuel in my belly for a long time. Just mad at the world.
Yeah.
Why did this person not want to be in my life? Why did this person say these fucking things about me or to me or whatever? And it didn't stop until I was probably in my mid-20s. And then it turned into kind of the same thing. Like, I'm doing well for myself. So still have the anger.
Yeah.
We're working on it,
So,
I'm not going to say it's gone completely. It'll never go away.
yeah, I don't think it ever does.
But it doesn't eat at
shift.
me anymore. And I use it as a positive fuel source towards gratitude, because then I can say, fuck you, I did it. Fuck you, I know I'm a good guy now.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no wonder.
Using that anger towards the gratitude. Like, look at me. I'm grateful for who I am today. I wouldn't change a single thing I've ever done in my life, any interaction, because I love who I am so much today that I wouldn't change any of the bullshit that, and I say it like I'm special. I'm not fucking special. Everyone goes through bullshit, but I wouldn't change any of the bullshit that I had gone through in my 27 years, because I love who I am so much today, dude. I love it.
Yeah.
And a huge part of that was
all the shit.
Anger.
And
fury. Wanted to watch the world burn. Wanted to do nothing but drink my problems away, be pissed off, be an asshole. And now it's transition, and the transition's hard.
It's hard, bro.
It's hard. And you don't want to do it at times because you're like so comfortable in your ways that when you bring in something new, you're like, dude, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. You're like, fuck, this is way harder than just being the stubborn prick I was.
Yeah, and like you said there, like, I love who I am now. And so I wouldn't change anything, because without those things, it's like if you change anything in a math problem, the answer at the end changes. Right? It's like I can't just pick and choose the variables. I'm like, oh, that was cool, but fuck all that other stuff, because then the end summation or product of the end of the equation is different.
Yeah.
So I am then different. And though it may have taken longer, like we said, on the mental health journey or whatever, like, I needed that to become this now. So I can't like denounce or bemoan any of it and be like, let's just remove that. Let's just scrap that part. It's like, no, without that, I'm not this guy.
Yeah.
So, but it is tough. And I guess what I'm wanting to I guess kind of bounce off you is like, how do you insert gratitude more? Like you said, you use like pain as the thing to be like, like, I am this guy. Kind of still a fuck you. But for me, it's like, I want to kind of get away from even allocating anything to that in some instances. And maybe that's not the be all fit all for anyone or everyone, or maybe it's not the right way at all. But I look at it as like, I want to just prove it to me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care about like trying to show up someone or do this for someone who doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah.
And I look at that as like, in other aspects of my life, I'm like, where's my ego still existing in a place that it doesn't need to be?
Yeah.
And so it's like, I guess, what is the right way to then maybe start letting go of some of that pain or that anger, and insert that gratitude and that love and that kindness?
Dude, I don't think I'm the one for the answer with that. I have no idea. I would probably say, wherever you feel like you need to put the love and the gratitude. We'll see.
I was only ahead of you by like a few strides.
Play back the footage.
Play back the footage.
But yeah, I think a lot of it is me. But I think for me, when it comes to like my success and like how I do things in life, it's, if I'm not hard on me though, who is?
Yeah, but and that's great. And I'm again an avid proponent of that mindset. But again, it's like, there's a balance. Like there's a point where it's like, if I cross this line, it's just self-detriment. Yeah. It's actually not adding anything.
And I think as my therapy's gone on, I've started to develop that boundary. But it's still something I'm working on.
Yeah.
So,
and I think people need to know that like, it's not going to just be like, oh, I'm going to look for this boundary. And like, trial and error.
It develops.
Right. Yeah. Like, you're like, oh, I thought it would be here. It's like, because you're naive, you're ignorant, you don't know that like, that's like way too far of a line. Like you're, again, like your margin of error is already so wide. Like most people stop at 20%. You're at 70.
Yeah.
Like, you need to
dial it back.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, but you don't know, because it's been like, that's all you know is that.
Yeah.
So to let others know that hey, if you were at 70 and you're at 55 now,
Great.
that's great. Yeah.
Progress.
Great. Yeah. And maybe 20 isn't where you live. Maybe you'll live at 35 or 40.
Yeah.
And if that's actually like a good optimal, and again, relative to at one point you were at 70, like you're infinitely better than you used to be. But there is a foregone point, I guess,
Yeah.
that toughness and that like, well, I'm being hard on me. Who else is going to be that it becomes detrimental?
Yeah.
Rather than
Yeah.
healthy.
Yeah.
I think, and then the last bit of this I'll drag on for us is I also, through being a father and being a friend, have realized that not everyone does work like you and I.
Yeah.
Right? Is that hey, tough it up, pussy. What are you, a weak bitch? Like that language doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
Like there's some people that has no impact on.
Mm-mm.
It actually just makes them like recluse further.
Yeah, it makes them feel isolated.
Yeah.
They thought they could come to you for help.
Yeah.
And now you're just dragging them down.
Yeah. And though from someone in our perspective, it's like, oh, I'm trying to give them what I know works.
Yeah.
Right. But it's like, but what works for you doesn't work for
Yeah.
everyone. And so realizing that's where I think you have to like, that's the times to insert the love or the kindness or the gratitude, is that when you realize and can like step out of yourself and go like, wow, okay, maybe I'm doing this thing to an unhealthy standard internally, but then two, like I care about this person and like it's not having the desired response from them. Like it's actually like making them worse, not better. And I care about them, so fuck, like I need to do something different here.
Mm-hmm.
I think that one was for me, was a big tell, was being able to realize like, fuck, I need to check. I need to do some things differently.
Do some self-checks real quick.
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough. Like I said, it's like, is it me?
Yeah.
That's the big thing I ask myself now is, in any way, is it me?
Mm.
And the other thing I like to do is like you said, when you're like, maybe it is me. Like, I don't know. Like, as I tell people when they ask me, how do I navigate my mental health a little better? How can I get a little further and something in therapy? I'm like, just continue to ask the question.
Yeah.
Like because it's like, if you have a problem communicating your needs to your partner, right?
Yeah.
All right. Like it's like, okay, well, why do I have this problem? Now you're one question back. Okay, well, because I feel like I'm a burden and I feel like I'm annoying. Let's go back another one. Why?
Yeah.
Like if you just keep asking why enough times, it may take 10 whys. It may take 20 whys.
Yeah.
But you'll get to like, this is the thing in you that is driving this.
Yeah.
You know, I can't say I need things because something 10 whys ago.
Something over here is directly affecting me here.
Yeah.
And it's all this fucking bullshit.
Yeah, and it's just layered. I've layered it in all these other
fucking
things.
onion, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like Shrek said, I'm a fucking onion.
Fucking onion.
I got problems in my core and it's showing on my outside.
It is, man. and that's the thing, is it just continue. If you can continue to ask why and try it again, you'll eventually figure it out.
Trial
and error. We're gonna get you some more mic awareness, boy, because you're fucking killing me. I thought you were trying to like talk out of your throat. I was like, goofball, fucking move your face.
No.
Okay. That's all I have on that one.
Perfect.
I guess this one kind of pins on it, but I want to hear something you have. Is what advice do you have, or would you give to someone struggling to move away from using negative emotion as their source of motivation?
Oh God, dude. That's a good question for me because I fucking use that shit as a fuel. I would say, God, that's good. I don't know.
Well,
I'm
me to maybe help you here.
I'm stupid, but I'm also smart enough to know I don't know, and I'm not going to talk on something that I'm not confident in.
Well, I have asked this question to my therapist as a like, hey, I don't know. I equivocally could not pull anything out of my ass that I thought was valuable. And she said, first and foremost, when you speak negatively to yourself, immediately replace it with something positive. So if you jump the curb in your truck and you go, fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, man. Like, she goes, how would you talk to your friend? Would you say that?
I'd be like, yeah, dude, that sucks.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It would just be that. It would be something casual and light.
Yeah.
And she goes, it doesn't matter if you believe it at first. You just have to start changing the language.
The repetitions.
Yeah. Because eventually, then you do believe it.
Yeah.
So that was one of the first things she said.
False positivity is still positivity.
It is. And, you know, I hate the phrase fake it till you make it, but in some instances, it's like,
it does work.
Yeah. There is a point where that does have effectiveness.
Yeah.
But that was the one she gave me first that I was like, wow, okay, that one is important. And I always try to do that now too, is if you called me and were like, man, I had a bad lift today. Like, I feel like I didn't have a good work. I'd be like, well, guess what? I'm going to go to the gym again tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And the weights will still be there.
Mm-hmm.
And so you'd be able to, like, it's okay. Sometimes you have a bad lift.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like thinking of how I would talk to my friends. How do I talk to the people I care about? And trying to view myself as someone
Self-apply.
that I care about.
Yeah. It's hard.
It is.
It's hard.
But again, it's like you have to, like, you just have to start. That's it. You just have to start.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be the most beautiful or efficient or even the best way to do it. But just start.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And that's 100% the hardest part is the starting. So many people can't start. That's why they don't ever do anything. It's not because they weren't smart enough or weren't capable. It's basically that they just couldn't start.
Mm-hmm. They didn't know how.
Yeah.
I didn't know how.
Yeah.
For years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it's like, it doesn't matter. Like, you're just starting. How are you?
How are you supposed to know?
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't know what you don't know.
Exactly. But it's not and that was a topic from last week. It's like, it's not about always what you know that makes you valuable. It's about how willing you are.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And if you're willing to just say, hey, like, I'm going to figure it out.
Put your head down and work.
Yeah.
Do the work.
You'll get a long way. So, we've been going a while, and there's still so much I want to say.
Dude, we got nothing but time.
I know we don't. No, man. We do. This one is something I wanted to. It's my first time to see you in 6 years, so we haven't had the chance to talk about it. So I want to break it down a little bit on the pull-out conversation, and not pull out sexually for anyone curious on if that's what we're talking about. We know Zack fucks, but that's not the pull-out we're talking about.
We wear jimmies around here.
Some of us. Anyway.
Ooh.
No, but
I live in Arizona, buddy. You got to be careful.
Ooh, scary.
Yeah.
And then Campbell too. But
Yeah.
anyway, I think there's a lot that can be tied back to this point.
Yeah.
With conversations we've had today, but with on the whole, what value do I have? And who am I?
Yeah.
And when things went the direction they did in Afghanistan there at the end, there's a lot of mixed emotion.
Yeah.
As we mentioned earlier.
Yeah. Not going to make it political.
Yep.
I'm not a political person. Don't affiliate with any parties. Don't affiliate with the two-party system.
Yep. It's all a scam.
It's all scams. It's all fake. They're lying to you. They're all friends. They're all cahoots. This season of the presidential election cycle is going to be lit. The scripts are sick. I can already tell.
I don't think he knows what he was saying.
But neither do I. So whatever. Shit. But that being said, it's not political for me. It is 100% emotional based on my opinion for it.
Same.
That was the biggest fuck up I've ever seen since Vietnam.
Dude.
And I mean, I didn't even get to see Vietnam, but since Vietnam, that is the biggest fuck up we've had militarily. How do you spend 20 years in a country? You should have your exit plan drawn up and ready to go for somewhere you've been for 20 years. What the fuck?
Yeah. That was exactly how I felt. What the fuck? And I'm lucky enough to, my uncle was a ranger in Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
Dude's fucking thug.
He probably fucking has some like necklaces, dude. Like ear necklaces.
Talk about fucking. He fucked.
That dude fucks.
But
he has some family over there.
He probably
he fucks.
I didn't feel anyone more relatable to me than him.
Yeah.
And still now we have some of the most. His children have made some comments that they're like, well, we don't understand y'all's relationship. I'm like, just because he gets it.
Yeah,
he gets it. He I know what, or can correlate to what I think he felt.
Yeah.
At that time. It's like, what was that effort? What was that time? What was that portion of me that I gave to this place and to these ideas that I believed were real? And a lot of people's initial comebacks are like, oh, well, you couldn't have thought they were going to be there forever. It's like, well, no, I didn't. No. I didn't think that. I was there. I knew that wasn't going to be.
At one point, I thought we were going to be there forever.
Okay, it gave the vibe of it could have potentially gone on a lot longer than it did.
Fun fact, in 2016, the company that delivered all the mail, we called them White Air. Remember them?
Yep.
A 99-year contract.
Yeah.
On Afghanistan. Yeah, granted, they do that because they don't know how long it's going to go, but 99 years? That's... I thought we were going to be there forever, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I could say from what we saw in 2016 and then what I saw collectively after getting out, and then things I heard from you guys in 2018. To me, it was obvious SF's moved away from some of the key influences and the roles they were having. The A&A never really kind of wanted to. They never got the will to fight fully, right? So I think there was a lot of, to me, indicators that was like, okay, it's not going to go on forever, but like you said, the way it happened was just a nightmare.
I mean, dude, we lost the country in 14 days.
Yeah.
Right? It was 14 days.
It was, I don't
I know,
actually, I don't
around
think
the
it was
2
even
week
that.
mark.
I think it was like 10,
Yeah.
essentially.
It was 2.
But to me, again, that wasn't as surprising again, because I knew, like, when we did training with A&A,
Yeah.
like, there was no will. You know, like, half the time it was like dudes
didn't
didn't
wanna
show
work.
up. Yeah, like it was like different dudes every time.
Yeah.
You know, like there was nothing that was like, these guys want to do this.
No.
There was some, right? But it wasn't enough. Like,
It was
1
1 in 5, if that.
If that. I'd say 1 in 2 in 10. Yeah, 1 in 5. Sure. Okay. Yeah. Same thing.
Math.
Yeah,
That one,
the
big
math.
guy.
Zach got me on math for once, but I didn't see the willingness from them
Yeah.
ever. Like even then,
No.
you know. So it was like when it was like we were slowly having less and less influence of the 20% that did. I mean, they wanted it. Like they fucking were willing. Like they were, we'll fucking die for this. But then the other 80% of people were like, I don't care. Like,
I just want your money.
Yeah, like, or it'd be nice, but like if not,
if you do it for us.
Yeah. Oh, dude, so much of that.
Yeah, it was I mean, I don't want to get too like into it just because it's hard to talk about it without making it political.
It is, yeah.
And I don't want to do that on your podcast, nor do I want to be associated with a political alignment.
Yeah, no, I get it. Same.
But it was a clusterfuck.
Yeah.
An absolute clusterfuck. It was everything you're not supposed to do strategically done at once. They told the fucking enemy when they were leaving. They left weapons. They left equipment. They left people we promised.
Yeah,
behind.
That one's the one that fucked me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't think a lot of normal, I don't mean this negatively, but like civilian people don't understand the impact of that. It's like we had made
promises,
like, yeah, essentially like wholehearted promises that we then were just like, sorry, bud.
There's no room for you on this bus.
Yeah, like the fucking boat's full.
Find your own fucking ride.
Yeah,
dude.
like, hey, thanks for your 10, 5, any amount of time. There were some people with 10,
by the way,
years.
Don't let them find out you worked for us. You're gonna get shot in the street.
They'll kill you.
Yeah,
and we know we promised you and your family asylum for all your time and efforts and risking your life and your well-being, and
get fucked.
Yeah, get fucked though.
Yeah,
that's the one that ate me up, man.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said in the beginning, that's where you and I really bonded, because I remember, I think it was the first or second day at the withdrawal, and I was working down at the border, and I was sitting in my hotel lobby eating my free continental breakfast. Thank you. I don't even remember the hotel, but shout out you guys. That shit was pretty good. Whoever was whipping it up, 10 out of 10. And I get your message, and you were like, what the fuck is going on, dude? And I was like, dude, I know. I'm watching it unfold, same time you are, real time. And I had friends who were in the 10th Mountain, and had friends who had friends that were there, or the 82nd. And around that time is when I started to lose faith in like the military.
Yeah.
It was because of that. And then I really lost faith when stuff came out a couple years later, about a year ago, with the 13 service members who died, who had reported fishy behaviors.
Yeah.
They had done their proper reporting, and now 13 sets of parents are childless.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's my angry. I was angry.
Yeah. I think it perpetuated a feeling that I was already struggling so much with at that time.
What was the point?
Yeah, it was like, what was the fucking point? It's like I wanted to believe that the things we did and were doing
meant something.
Yeah, it was like I was making it. Maybe it's selfish to say that, but like I thought I was making a fucking difference.
Dude, I was there at 19, and then again at fucking just turned 21.
Yeah.
Just turned 21. And those effects from those 2 separate years that I spent there have they've shaped me into the man I am, but they also have a trickle effect down the road, leading to some of the stuff we've talked about earlier.
Yeah.
You know, and then the same thing is like with the withdrawal. It's why did I sacrifice? Not just me. Like I said
Yeah.
earlier, I'm not special
No.
by any means.
Yeah.
Maybe a little special in the head, but like not special by any means. But why did I? It was an internal conflict, willingly and eagerly too.
Mm.
I was chipper than fuck to go.
Yeah.
Spend my youthful years like I didn't have, you know, the rest of my years ahead of me, but still like over there.
Yeah.
If we're just gonna fucking let it go to a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
So, and to the people who've died there, it's a discredit to them, not just in recent years, but the entirety of the conflict in Afghanistan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a
Tough one.
and there's still so much more there that we could break down and
for hours.
Yeah, we could spend hours on that subject solely,
Mm-hmm.
Because there's innate complexities there. But no, actually, it's something that we just did briefly hit on earlier, so I wanted to bring back up because we haven't gotten to really to parse any of that down and address any of it. So I wanted to just skim the surface a bit more on it per se.
Yeah.
Let's see. What strategies? We're just gonna casually just go back to everything. Like we did just have a little thing, but what strategies do you use to stay mentally healthy and resilient when facing ongoing challenges today?
Again, a regiment, dude.
Okay.
My regiment, physical exercise, a somewhat good diet. I'm not the cleanest eater, but I am a somewhat good eater.
Yeah.
But I would say those two things play a huge part into how I feel about myself, which in turn makes my mental health better.
Okay. So having a plan, having a regiment for you,
discipline,
huge impact. Okay.
And friends help. Don't isolate yourself ever.
Yeah. Whatever you think you can do alone, you can't.
Yeah. I love the group of friends I have.
Yeah.
I mean, and I've only known the ones I'm with now in Arizona for, you know, a little over a month, and they're awesome.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, man.
Hell yeah.
It's surround yourself with people you care about that are like-minded.
That's huge.
Yeah. You can surround yourself with some really shitty people and then be amazingly disgusted at how shitty your life becomes.
Yeah.
Right. And
you are what you surround yourself with.
Yep. You attract what you are too. I think that's a hard one for people to take in.
Yeah.
Is there like
self-reflection.
Yeah. It's like, wow, I have all these shitty friends. It's like, maybe you're a shitty friend.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're not wrong.
I mean, but it just like ask yourself enough whys.
Yeah.
You'll find out.
Yeah.
And again, that answer may not always be what you want it to be.
Yeah. It's hard.
It is hard.
The truth sucks.
But it's the truth.
It's the truth. If you suck,
you suck. Do better.
Some people's kids, man, they just fucking suck.
Yeah. Damn. So as someone who's experienced significant life changes from deployments, joining the Army young, moving across the country.
Yeah.
What are some key life lessons that you'd like to give to anyone so that maybe they can avoid some of those pitfalls?
Dude, I got you. I even have it in my notes, bro. This is how, because I knew this was coming. So I actually have 4 big things.
Go ahead, man. Let's hear them.
The first one is just be a good dude.
Yeah.
If you're a girl, be a good person. Just be a good person, right? Treat others the way you want to be treated until you're given reason not to. Set expectations.
Yep.
And boundaries.
Yep.
And if they cross those, fuck them.
Mm-hmm.
Move forward. Always. Never backwards, whether that's physically, mentally, or spiritually. I'm not a spiritual person, but I still believe that is a huge thing for a vast majority of people out there. Whether it's, how you've talked, in your last episode about God.
Yep.
Without that spiritual aspect in your life, where would you be? You'd be mentally and physically tough, sure. But do you really think you'd be as whole as you are now for you?
Probably not.
Right? So always forward, never backwards. Be strong in those 3 places. Be disciplined.
Yep.
I've said it a lot tonight. Be disciplined. Be hard on yourself, but healthily. Hold yourself to a high standard and be accountable. Be accountable. If you say, I'm going to wake up at 6 o'clock and go for a run, wake the fuck up at 6 o'clock. Put your fucking shoes on. Go for the fucking run.
Yep.
And then it's okay to fuck up. dude. Everyone fucks up. It's how you learn from the mistake that defines who you are. It's how you, and we talked about it earlier, trial and error. You know, it's I fucked this up so bad that I don't want to fuck it up again.
Mm-hmm.
Let's learn from that.
Yeah.
And become the better fucking person.
Mm-hmm. I love all that, man.
Yeah.
It's
Big 4 things I live my life by.
Be a good person.
Be a good dude. Just be a good fucking dude.
Yeah.
I'm going to use that term because it is gender fluid.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. I'm not
Not
politically
gender-
correct, but I will be this time.
Heck yeah.
Dude is a fucking term that can be used for
Either
guys
one.
and girls alike.
Yep.
Be a good fucking dude.
Be a good dude.
Treat people how you want to be treated. Be fucking nice. And guess what? Everything opens up to you.
It does.
Always forward, never back.
I love that.
Be disciplined. Be accountable. Everyone fucks up. Easy shit.
Yeah, relatively easy.
Easy when you say it.
Yeah. No, the practice isn't always so easy.
No.
But I love it. Yeah. I think those are good.
Attainable.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Very attainable. I like the one you kind of briefly hit, but it was it made me think of something else. Is be quick to you said treat people nice so you have a reason not to.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's something hugely that I'm trying to do, and it's a struggle. Is like be quick to give trust, but even quicker to take it back if you need to.
Yeah.
I think
Once that trust is broken, get fucked. I gave you the shot. Get fucked. I mean, that's for me.
Yeah.
That's not for everybody, but that's for me.
I think if
it's worked out well for me. That's why I stick to it. It doesn't work out well for everybody.
I think it's
maybe that's just me being
no.
honest.
I mean, I love it. I just think I'll challenge you on. I think there's more to anything than that, because if we're also saying fuck up, it's like, well, maybe a fuck up wasn't something in trust. I think it's rooted in like intention.
Yeah.
Was there intention rooted?
There
in
you
malice?
go. Maybe was it intentionally?
Yeah.
They broke your trust, or was it like, Sally told Jimmy that Liz liked him in passing. She didn't mean to, but now Sally's trying to hang out with Jim because she knows Liz likes him. Intentionality is what makes it fucking vile.
Yeah. Or one that is I'll be the person I'm saying I'm trying to be, which is someone who's vulnerable here, and say, for me, it's like I have struggled at times in my life to tell the truth because of fear, not because I want to hurt the people I care about, or because I want to, be just like a selfish and have some gain from it, right?
Yeah.
Just because I'm scared to hurt the person I care about. Like the fear drives me to be like, oh well, if I just leave this part out, or I don't say this, or I just don't, or just flat out lie about it. But it's rooted in the I'm scared.
It doesn't even sound like you're necessarily lying. It's just you're not admitting the whole truth.
Well, some people say that's a lie. So
I would say it's different.
I would agree. Maybe
I would say lying is saying, hey, I don't like that when you do like it. And admitting the truth is like, hey, let's say I asked you, what do you do today? And you're like, oh, I did this, this, and this. But in actuality, you went to the gas station too. Why didn't you just fucking tell me you went to the gas station? You're admitting some of the truth. It's not that you lied. It's just you left the part out that might hurt someone.
Yeah.
In fear that it might hurt them.
Yeah.
It's not a lie in my mind.
Yeah.
It's just, it's not right. It's not right at all.
Yeah. Exactly.
But it comes from at least.
So what's the end? That's me. That's how I base it. It's like, it's okay. Because I think about it, it's like what makes love real is that they can hurt you. Like that's the gamble, right? It's like, I love you so that I'm letting you close to me. I'm giving you the ability to potentially hurt me.
Yeah.
Right. Because people you don't give a fuck can't hurt you. If you're really kind of certified in yourself.
Yeah.
Or certified.
But as soon as you give someone the power.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's scary.
Right. It is scary. And it's supposed to be because you don't know.
Yeah.
But that's what makes it also so meaningful is the fact that they could fucking ruin you and they don't. And if maybe they do wound you, right? Like I like to look at intention rather than like, oh, ow, you hurt me. It's like, well, maybe I've hurt you too.
Yeah.
But maybe I didn't know because maybe you haven't said anything.
Yeah.
Or maybe I haven't said anything and you've been hurting me for longer than you've known, but because of my inability to speak up about it. Now, the fact that you just kind of brushed against me, little did you know there's been a wound there that you've been perpetuating.
Yeah.
Now I have a fucking problem with it, right?
Now I have a fucking problem.
Yeah. And so it's like, oh, fuck you. It's like, well, but again, I don't know. I
Yeah.
look at intention. I
Yeah.
think it's always going to show.
I think it's hard for me because I am such a fucking intense person
Mhm.
sometimes, especially when it comes to like looking at stuff rationally sometimes like that, because
Logical
it's like
stuff.
it's hard to control the emotions. Once you start like getting in tune with them, dude, it's like, damn,
Makes
this is
life easier.
hard. I want to fight these things a little bit, or like, how do I not fluctuate, but like properly gauge? Like, how do you tell the difference between,
How do you quantify it?
upset? Like, I didn't know what the fuck upset was. I thought it was just
I'm mad.
I'm mad.
Yeah. No, there's levels to it.
Yeah, no, there's tears.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I think it's hard for me because I am so intense. I'm like, well, what the fuck, dude? Why the fuck did you do that to me? You know? Whereas like I think you have probably the healthier mindset where it's like, let's look at the intentionality. Was it intentionally like they were trying to hurt me, or was it like a mishap?
No, I think for me that the knee jerk is still there.
Yeah.
I'm like, you mother, right? But I just like have to go, okay, who do I want to be?
Yeah.
Right? Because it's really easy to, and I've said it a lot of times to anyone who's close to me. They've definitely heard me say it. Is like, I don't want anything to be based on emotion, positive or negative, because then you'll feel like you're never gonna like that happiness, that joy, that overwhelming excitement you feel. It'll fade.
Yeah.
And so will that sadness, that negativity, and that anger.
Yeah.
So don't make decisions there. Like wait till you can come back to like neutral and then make a decision, because then you won't have regret of any kind, good or bad. Like you can regret making a decision in a good state. There's a lot of men out there who got children that they wish they would have just taken that motherfucker out.
Yeah.
Right? Because they were feeling good. They're like, fuck it. Right? But if you'd ask them in a clear state of mind, like, hey man, you want to have a kid with that girl? Nah, bro.
No.
Right? Like, I'm not dogging on anyone here. I'm just saying, like, it's a very easy scenario to push the issue of like, is that what you actually want?
Yeah.
And how emotion can sway your decision.
Let's just put it out there. Austin's not dogging on women. We're just two bros broing out. All right.
Yeah, that's it.
We love women around here.
We love women.
We love them.
Too much.
They're so nice. They smell so good. Yeah, I'm so scared. I'm so scared of them. Go say hi.
Don't speak to me though, or don't look at me for too long. No.
Go say hi to that girl if you like her so much. I'm good.
No, I'm good. No. I got
stuff to do. Actually, my dog. I haven't fed him in a while. I gotta go home.
Gonna Forrest Gump all the way back to fucking Phoenix just to fucking get away from this person. No, but oh, fuck.
I know. Tangent. My bad, dude.
Sorry.
You got a little too serious for me.
Is getting a base. I would love to say I'm just so calm and rooted in peace in that way. But like it's hard. Like it's still an act. Like it's an active choice to say, hey, no, like okay, this has a triggering reaction for me. I do feel a certain way by your behavior.
Yeah.
But let me take a fucking breath.
Yeah.
And really see.
Take a step back.
Yeah.
Put it into a perspective.
Yeah. 100%.
Put it into a frame. Logically look at things instead of emotionally.
Let's talk about fitness. Let's talk about being healthy.
We love it.
We do. We love it so much that Zach wasn't even here 12 hours and we were sweating our fucking balls off on a run.
You think I flew out here for the fucking podcast? Hell no. I came out here to get a run in and go lift.
Is it? That's
why my flight's out of here tomorrow, dude.
It's gone. Fuck me. Hey, I ain't for a long time.
Hey, I'm just here for your gym membership, buddy. Thank you.
Fucking hey, that's it. What kind of impact do you think like running and lifting has on your? You've mentioned it, and it's important to have that regimen, but some other things.
So I have a deathly fear of being fat. It's just I'm not afraid to say it at all. I fucking don't like it.
Yeah.
It's because I was a chunkier. It's a self thing.
Yeah.
100%. I was a chunkier kid growing up, and then I was a skinny fat kid. I'm still kind of skinny fat. That's because I like beer. But I pride myself in doing something that most Americans aren't, and it's taking care of their bodies.
Yep.
And I know it'll pay dividends down the road when I'm 40, 50, 60 years old. Hopefully I make it to 70, but I don't know. That sounds kind of old, dude. Sounds kind of fucking boring. And running's a new thing. Yeah. I hated it in the Army, dude.
Same.
Hated it.
Fucking horrible.
Hated it. And then I got into it. I got back into it. I stopped running for like a year.
Yeah.
Once I got out. And I would say late February, early March, I got back into it.
Mm,
And that first mile kicked my ass, dude.
I remember.
And I died. Dude, you're the first person I messaged. I was like, dude, this sucks. Why the fuck did I let you talk me into this, dude? I'm now the second person that's been on here that's let you talk them into running. Or letting them, or talk them into running.
Yeah.
But it fucking sucked. Dude, I was like, this is hard. But then it turned something on in my head that was like, I'm not doing this because I have to anymore. I'm doing this because I want to, and I want to be better at it.
Yeah.
And now when people ask me, you're like, oh, you got into running again? I always make them, yeah, you can't, but still not fast enough to run away from my problems, you know,
Yeah.
trying to get there as a joke. But really, it's a competitiveness thing for me.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the fastest. I'm so okay. I don't want to be a long distance runner.
Yep.
I'm not. I'm cool.
The marathon's not for you.
No, I'm so good, dude. My knees would literally explode like airbags. And I'm pretty sure my spine might enter the stratosphere if I stepped wrong.
Yeah. You're almost there today.
I would
Fuck the grass.
fuck the grass. That whoever decided to let us run through divoted grass,
It's a horrible idea.
asshole. That shit was hot too, and it was just draggy. It was fuck
bad
the
time.
grass, dude. It's ruined my times. But I love it. I love the challenge. I love it's something that's tangible in value when you can see increases.
Yep.
Whether it's a couple seconds or you're shaving off fucking minutes, you know,
Or hours.
and it doesn't, it's hard,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not like in the weights where it's like
It's
small increments. It's like running, you can make strides very fast, especially if you have the muscle twitch like I did getting back into it from the military, where it's like that next day when I ran, dude, I was back down into the 8s and I was like, this is sick. Like whatever. And I'm not running the same PT routes anymore. I'm not running the same base I've seen. I'm going places. I'm flying to fucking Houston to go for a run, you know? And so it's like, it's awesome now.
Yeah.
I love it. It quiets the mind.
It does that.
And my mind is very mean sometimes. So yeah, it's nice.
I enjoy hearing you say that as someone who doesn't run to the capacity that I do.
Yeah.
Right? Because a lot of people think like, oh, I can only find all these great things I've heard Austin say about running. If I run a marathon, it's like I think he said earlier, like maybe you run 15 miles a week, right?
Yeah.
Like maybe.
Maybe.
It's not, you know, even just a couple miles a day.
Yeah.
Like you'd be blown away at one, how tough it is if you're not a runner. Like, but also how quick you can do that. Like how quick you could actually
You can pick it up.
Yeah, how quick it can come to you.
I would be very interested if they did a poll and people answered truthfully, like how many Americans actually did any kind of physical, like, I guess not physical activity, but cardio based running or even going for a quick jaunt, you know, quick jog. Because I think if that data ever was revealed, that you'd be surprised. It's probably less than 10%.
Yeah.
I could confidently say that less than 10% is American.
Yeah, people aren't running, man. I mean,
so people who are, even if you suck at it, should feel good about it.
No, you should.
Yeah.
And you don't need to be a freak like me and want to Boston qualify to get the feel goods of running. Like it is empowering because, like Zach said, with lifting, right? It's like, oh, your set's what you do a set of 10. I mean, it takes you 20, 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And running is a perpetually, every step is hard. It's a choice. You have to continue to make every time your foot hits the ground.
You have to pay attention the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it is a bit more, not just as, it is very physically taxing, but it's mentally taxing too. Right. Because it is it's like, I choose to continue. I choose to continue. I choose to continue. I choose to continue. Even though it's hot, even though I'm breathing,
dude,
feeling like dying. Like so it is so much more taxing than just the physical aspect.
Yeah, dude, it's rough.
Yeah, like
but
today,
it's fun.
Today we were feeling the fucking suck.
Dude, we were sucking.
For some context, we're in Houston, Texas, and we went on a little run club run this morning, and it was about 85 degrees and about 8,000% humidity, and the sun was cooking us.
It's funny too because I got back into it and I was still living in Tennessee. So when I got out to Arizona, no humidity. I was like, "This is great." Yeah, my throat hurt the first couple of runs because it was so dry.
So dry, yeah.
But then I was like on the plane. I was like, "Dude, I'm conditioned for the humidity still. Like I'm good." I got out here. I was like, "What the fuck, dude?" I was like, "This shit sucks." And then we started running this morning. I was like, and we started so late in the day. We started like almost 9:30.
Dude, it was so late.
And I was like, "What the fuck, dude?" And it was fun. I had a blast still. I'm not dogging on him.
No, it was a great time.
Shout out. What was that gym called?
Alpha Land.
Alpha Land. That was a good time. But Fuck the grass.
The grass was brutal. Next time,
Even the
don't
guy
run the
who
grass.
coordinated it was like,
Yeah.
yeah, fuck the grass, dude. This shit sucks.
Horrible time.
But I get what they're trying to do by essentially locating it it was the first one today that they played.
Yeah.
So essentially locating it for the first time is smart.
Humble brag, we were the 1 and 2 of the men finishers.
We were.
So,
and I'm chubby and I'm skinny fat. I'm skinny fat. So
small brag. we the irony of that and the why it's funny is Zach and I both agreed.
We're gonna take it easy.
And actually, ironically, we almost did come close to that 8:30. We just had to work way fucking harder for it than we thought.
The first half mile, we were at like a 6:45. We're like,
that
what
was insane.
We're like, this is unsustainable. I was like, I'm backing off to a 7. And you're like, 7 sounds good. And then we hit a 7. I was like, I'm backing off to 7:30, dude. I'm tired.
Back it down. It was brutal. But I think the message can be is just pursue something a little hard.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that's running, that's working on yourself mentally.
Reading.
You said what?
Reading.
Oh, man. Yeah. Love to read.
Love it. But you know how hard it is to find people.
Oh,
do you tell people you read? And like I read almost every night.
Yeah.
You know how hard it is to like get people to convince themselves to take 30 minutes out of their night to get up, put their fucking phone down and look at some pages.
Yeah.
And just read.
It's so good though.
It's hard. But it's a hard thing to do because you don't want to do it.
Yeah. I think it takes the intentionality.
Mm-hmm.
Just like going to the gym. It's like, really? If you're doing nothing, like but sitting on your ass, eating bonbons, scrolling on your phone, playing video games, like 30 minutes at the gym change your life.
Yeah.
So it's like same thing, like just the intentionality to do it.
Going for a walk.
Dude, walks will fucking change your life, man.
Mm-hmm.
I love a walk. I walk every day. I'm a fucking old man. But.
Walk my fat ass to the couch.
I guess this one's like a prominent one. What motivated you after getting out of the Army to stay fit?
Dude, I didn't want to be a fat veteran.
Fuck.
Yep.
Been there.
Yep. I didn't want to be a fat veteran. I didn't want to be the piece of shit that grows a fat beard, grows long hair. Sorry, I you don't have any hair. But I didn't want to be fat. I didn't want to be the typical dude who gets out and just lets everything they put to work wither away. And I have family that was in and they let themselves go. And it's fucking sad.
It is.
And especially with one of my family members who shed so much weight to get into the military.
Yeah. It's like, why'd you do all that?
And then got out and just put it all back on.
Mm.
And so, don't get me wrong, I love me a Cinnabon.
Fuck yeah, man.
But moderation.
Yeah.
Staying in the gym, staying consistent.
Discipline,
baby.
Yeah.
Attitude.
I think that's powerful as somebody who did get to be the fat veteran, right? If anyone doesn't know, they see me, they think I'm this jack dude who runs crazy fast. Yeah, we were a big bearded, fat fucking bitch for a while.
Not the big hair though.
Not the big hair. Been bald for a while. But yeah, and I found myself. I think I call them unintended consequences. But I think, like we talked about, the military breeds some unhealthy relationships to certain things for running. For both of us, right? I hated running 100%.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I have fought against my bodybuilding coach because I'm like, I want to run.
Yeah.
He's like, no, like we go do fucking the stairs. I'm like, I'm gonna go for a run.
Yeah. Fuck you.
Yeah. Shut up, man. I love you, dog. But like it's. I think it's so the military's like, you need to be fit to be a soldier. You do, but you need to like breed it in the right way.
Yeah.
Right. Because if not, because if you build an unhealthy relationship to it, then that's what happens. People get out and they're like, fuck that, I'm never doing this again. Because they see it as like, oh, that's the Army or that's the Marines, that's the whatever. Like it's like, no, like that's just fitness.
Yeah.
Like, and you just have built a negative correlation to it, but it actually doesn't have to be negative. So I guess we'll just go with this one. Looking back on your service, I'm gonna poke at you a bit because it's too opportune not to. Is there anything that you would have done differently, or wish you could redo? And I guess kind of step people through a little bit of when you got out, you're a staff sergeant, right? But your time of promotion and whatnot wasn't the conventional way. You got demoted early in your career.
Hell yeah, dude.
I think it.
Fuck you, John Ocker.
Some people need to hear that though, because it's like you could. I mean, at that point, you were super like, fuck this, I'm over it.
Yeah,
I remember like we used to talk about that. You're like, you were super over the Army then.
Yeah.
So how you came back and bounced back to that to becoming a leader?
Yeah, dude. So for context, I had a negligent discharge.
That
while
means
pulling.
he shot the gun when he wasn't supposed to.
The gun went off.
The gun went off
Um,
when it wasn't supposed to.
and there was the Comrade General Nicholson at the time. I believe he was a 3-star commander of Afghanistan doing a KLE.
Yeah.
Key
Not
leader
a good
engagement. Not a good look. We were pulling out our quarter on security in front of the landing zone. Not a good look at all.
Super bad look.
Hey, I took my lookings like a man.
He did.
I did. I took him. What happened? Fucking gun went off. Raised my hand. I told everyone, like, I fucked up. Got demoted. There, I actually met somebody who is, at the time, a very important figure in my life. He was the NCO in what we call TOC, Tactical Operations Center. He had just come from either Germany or Alaska. Can't remember where. No, he just came from being an RI, so a ranger instructor down in Benning. He's a mountain phase guy. His name is Shane Fackrell. Dude is a goober, but he is a stud. So I took my lookings like a man, did my extra duty on top of while being deployed.
Which is a bitch, because you're always at work anyway.
Yeah.
So extra duty is just like...
I filled sandbags and cut weeds on a fucking airstrip, dude. It was miserable.
Horrible time for Zack.
I also may have jerked off behind the chaplain's office once or twice. That's hearsay. Fuck that dude.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah. It's Afghanistan, man. You have to find shit to whack your willy to. Or around.
I think we can tie back to that anger though. You were definitely
I
very
was
angry there.
Pissed. I mean, it was more pissed at myself for being a dumbass.
Yeah.
You know? And then whatever. I got called a bunch of dumbass, piece of shit. Fucking that first sergeant we had at the time. Can't even remember his name at this point.
Yeah.
Kevin something.
Yeah.
And then got back to the States, got pulled over to the platoon you were in, 4th platoon. And by ZH, man, dude, shout out Sergeant Howerton, man. That dude is a fucking legend. Little short man from Chicago gave me a second chance. Didn't think I was a piece of shit. Talked to me like I was sometimes,
Definitely,
but that was just
to all of us like that, though.
But that's how he was, and that's how he showed his affection.
Yeah.
But he gave me a second chance when no one in the company wanted anything to do with me. That was bad juju.
Yeah.
And set me on a path that was tough love.
Yeah.
And instilled tough love into me, which was needed. And then I met Shane. Shane took over for Howerton.
Yep.
And Shane is actually him and the lieutenant we had at the time, or had come in, Hunter Mancini. Are the reasons I actually re-enlisted. Because just like two of my really good friends that I hung around with all the time, I was dead set on getting out and going and being a fool with those two idiots in California. I'm super glad I didn't do that. Love you guys, but
not for you.
Not for me. So Shane and Hunter put me on a path to stay in. Shane really believed in me. He was like, "You're making a huge fucking mistake if you get out." He's like, "You're good. You're good at this." And I mean, I promoted back up to specialist super quick.
Yep.
Shane wholeheartedly believed in me. And then Shane got reassigned.
Yeah.
And then we had Jerry. Love Jerry. Jerry's another prominent leader I had in my life who gave me a leadership role without necessarily being a leader. So it was like kind of easing the burden.
Yeah. Kind of like a trial error phase for you.
So one of my best friends in the entire world, and I'm actually godfather to one of his kids, was my squad leader. Coleman, love you, buddy. Love that guy more than anything in the world.
Great dude.
He put me under Coleman, and Coleman, you mean this is 2018, you were gone, but Coleman was a fucking brick.
Yeah.
He had something to prove. His first deployment, everyone treated him like shit because he didn't have a patch when he got to Carson. Yeah. And he's actually incredibly knowledgeable and smart and tactically sound as well.
Probably one of the most smart, collectively, like most intelligent dudes.
Yeah. Dude is a fucking genius.
Yeah.
But so I had him and Jerry and Hunter, which just propelled me, dude, forward. And then we got back. I moved to Gamble and I was drinking heavily. Got arrested for arson. Found not guilty, not a felon. Thank fuck, because that would suck. But I had some shitty leaders going through that. Shitty leaders. And it was like, granted, I was fucked up. I had a problem. I was fucked up. But it's like they didn't give a shit. Again, I was bad juju, And then I had a leader come in, and his name was Matthew McKnight. Dude's flying helicopters somewhere now. Dude's a badass. So I think he's flying Chinooks. Good for him. I think he's in Alaska, actually. So
Heck yeah.
sick. He loves it up there. And he saw potential in me. You know, again, I was a E5 who just got in trouble. Couldn't get demoted because it happened on the civilian side, not the military side.
Yeah,
so
they can't.
they were kind of fucking pissed about that. No double jeopardy.
But just because they can't actually do something doesn't mean that they don't block you where they can.
Yeah.
Under the board. Or,
Yeah.
Or,
exactly.
You know, do shitty things to make your life miserable.
So I had McKnight, who was awesome. He was the one that was like, hey, man, I think you'd be a good staff sergeant. Well, before McKnight, I had Mario Christel. I can't forget about Mario, dude. Mario, me and him talk almost once or twice a week. Me and him are, I would consider him a brother.
Yep.
Me and him are blood brothers. He was actually 212.
Okay.
So old head from the Warringall, seen some shit, wild guy. Has had my back through everything. The first leader I had when I got to Campbell through all the shit was Sucky.
Yeah.
Mario, dude, if it wasn't for Mario, I would have fucking probably gone AWOL. That dude fucking pulled me out of a dark place. Yeah. And then I had McKnight, who Mario wanted me to go, but because of the incident, they were just fucking blocking me. And McKnight finally was able to pull some strings and get me to go. Picked up 6 and loved it, dude. I loved, from the time I was a junior NCO, which is, you know, E4 corporal through E6. Yep. The best part of my day was leading soldiers and teaching them and like passing on things that I wish I had known when I was 18, 19, 20. Yeah. So, I mean, that's it. That's a long answer, but yeah.
So nothing you'd redo? Kind of
no.
Take
dude, nothing. Because even now, as I'm sitting here, like ruminating. Yeah. There's like negative emotions associated with things, but I wouldn't change it. Yeah. Because I needed that arrest to realize that I had a fucking drinking problem because I didn't think I had one. I needed to wake up in the middle of the woods and get arrested. Yeah. And brought to jail. And it was like, oh shit. Yeah, like you're fucked up, dude. You have your priorities all fucking wrong. It took, again, I think it's that place of anger that I use it as a fuel, but these people tell me that I'm not good enough to use it as fuel, become good enough. I still have soldiers to this day who hit me up and tell me they miss me. I'm a groomsman for one of my old soldiers in September. Oh yeah, man. So like, I wouldn't change a thing. Yeah. Because I wouldn't have those bonds. I wouldn't have those people. I wouldn't have those experiences. Yeah. So long tangent, long explanation. But yes, wouldn't change a thing. Okay.
I agree. I agree. I think your story is great in that way because it's like it's the what's the word? To me, it's like the perfect story. Yeah. Right. It's like the guy who, you know, starts to rise and then fucking falls, and then like starts to go again, and then like, you know, like these bumps in the roads will continue to happen in your life. Right. But like you said, it's not about can you control the bumps in the road, but can you control you, how you move from them, how you respond to them. Right. And the falls don't have to be as drastic as, oh, I lose all my rank, I get demoted, and I get arrested. But they can't be. But if they are that bad, it also doesn't mean that there still can't be success for you. Yeah. And that you still can't win and do good things and be a good person, and or that you're any less of a person because of those things.
You aren't the bad shit.
Yeah. And it's like, kind of like you said, just giving that knowledge back to those people, being able to be a guide for them. I think there's a good phrase by Will Smith that I'll probably say every podcast because I love it. I'm butchering the quote, so I'm not even gonna say it's a quote, but he said, "There's nothing more. There's no amount of money in the world, and no other feeling that's more impactful than being of use to someone. Like when I can be useful to someone else, whether that be with like a conversation or a piece of advice or anything, like that's the most fulfilling part of life. There's no amount of money that feels better than that. There's no car, there's no drug. Like that is the currency of life.
I mean, think about it, dude. You're a father. I haven't been blessed with the opportunity to be a dad yet. One day, hopefully, but you're a father. How good does it feel when you help your boy out? When you teach him something new, when you set him on the right path, how rewarding is that for you?
Yeah, it's the ultimate reward. Yeah. And even and not just with him, I think you don't have to be a father to feel this, but like I told you earlier, I mean, Tulos Holden called me the other day, and that was a rough call. Like that wasn't a hey, how you doing? Yeah. Like that was he was going through some stuff, his business out there, but I talked to him for 30 minutes, and like we hung up, and it was a tough call, but like I felt so good.
Yeah.
Like, and I told him one of the things I said to him was, like, if you wouldn't have called me, I wouldn't have been able, like, I wouldn't have had this feeling of like reward today. Like, no, I was useful to someone. I was able to be what someone needed. Right. So it's like you think in your head, right, that negative relationship of self is, oh, I'm doing a disservice if I bother them. It's like, no, you're robbing them of the opportunity to be helpful to you. You're stripping away the potential for them to be useful.
Yeah.
And so it's like flipping it. I'm a burden. I'm bothering them. It's like, or think of it as I'm robbing them of the chance to do what they want to do, which is be my friend, to be there for me.
Yeah.
And again, I think it's just like trying to alter that perspective.
It's so hard though.
It is. No, I mean, I'm not, if I'm making it seem easy,
it's not.
It's anything but that. But, but again, it's like if you can just start. Every time you think, oh, I don't want to bother someone.
Yeah.
You've taken them you've robbed them of the ability to be helpful now.
Yeah.
Again, like it's how can I inversely create the reaction I want?
Yeah.
Right. And anyone who's done like any form of martial arts or anything, it's like can see that. It's like, okay, if I want this guy to give space to me in jujitsu, it's like I can grab him by his back, because what's he gonna do? He's gonna try and pull away. So if what I want is space, it's like it seems ironic to say, well, I'm gonna grab him.
Yeah.
But by me grabbing him, he's gonna pull away. So now I've gotten what I wanted, which is space to do my next move. So it's like it doesn't matter how you get it done, is the point. Right? It's like, how can I get to what I want? How can I move forward and not backwards? Even if it seems like it doesn't make sense. Yeah, counterproductive. Like, and again, it's not easy, but just starting.
Yeah. It's interesting.
And it's like I'll give it to people who are super logical. It's like in a math equation. If the answer is negative and you need to be positive, there's a million ways to fix that problem. The simplest ways, we could just throw a -1 at the front of the problem.
Yeah.
And now it's a positive answer.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, again, that doesn't make
Dude,
it
I barely graduated algebra. Be careful.
It's okay. Well, we've talked a lot today.
Yeah.
I wanna end it on the thing I asked you to have ready, which is what's a quote that's impacted you or stuck with you?
I got you, brother.
Made an impression.
It's actually Robin Williams.
Let's hear it, man.
As Robin Williams once said, I think the saddest people always try their hardest to make other people happy, because they know how it feels to be absolutely worthless, and they don't want anybody else to feel like that. And the reason I love this is I've been there. You know, I've been sad. I'm still there a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But you can see it in yourself, so see it in others.
Yeah.
And recognize it. I mean, look at me today in the gym.
Yeah.
Who was the guy that was bouncing off the walls the happiest? I was sad while we were there.
Yeah.
You know? And my friends see it, they're like, oh, like I never would have guessed you were, you know, the way you are, because you're always so happy or bouncing around or making jokes. And it's like, yeah, because I don't want you guys to feel that burden.
Yeah.
I don't want you guys to feel the way I'm feeling. You know, I don't want to be like the guy that quits getting invited because he's perpetuating a fucking blue aura onto others. You know, I don't want to be the sad Eeyore in the corner. So I'm going to be happy. And I mean, and I think it's ironic that it comes from Robin Williams, who is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Because of the way he passed, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, Robin Williams.
I love that. I think.
That or Shrek. I'm an onion, dude.
I'm an onion.
I'm an onion.
Yeah, you said there's a lot of irony with that, with it coming from Robert Williams, as you know how he ended his own life, which is tough because I think there's so much truth there. I think it's very deeply relatable. That's why I seem a little wordless, because I'm not quite sure what to say, because it speaks to me a lot.
Yeah.
And when I look at like you said, just recognizing it in other people. It's kind of like when you get a tattoo, right? You start to notice everyone else's tattoos. Or you get a certain car, you're like, oh, wow, look, there's that car everywhere else. And I think once you've been truly sad and like been fucked by that, I think it's easy to be like, I can see it now.
Yeah.
I see it painted on someone else.
Yeah.
And I want to do anything I can to remove that from them.
Yeah.
Because I know how much.
Even if you can't do it for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to take it away from somebody else.
Yeah.
Because I know it fucking sucks, and I know it's heavy. And I know all about it. I know you feel alone. I know that it's not what you want. And if I could take it away from you, I would.
Just give you a big old hug. Tell you it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right, little buddy. Want to grab a beer? Let's go grab a beer. You know? Hey, man. want to come run with me?
Yeah.
You know, something, dude.
Yeah.
But you're 100% correct. Once you've identified it in yourself and you know the signs, no matter how happy somebody is or may seem to be, there's something else going on sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. Anytime you've known someone that's killed themselves, what's one of the most common phrases? Oh, they were so happy.
Yeah. They were just laughing yesterday.
They were just laughing yesterday. They were so joyful, you know, or I don't know if you're on TikTok, but like you see the sad videos of like husbands that killed themselves. It's like they're happy, they're playing with their kids, and they're like, this was a week before it.
Yeah.
And it's like most people look at that and like, oh, that's so sad. But I see videos like that and I'm like, I see the signs.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Painted
I can see it. Yeah.
Painted on the walls.
Mhm.
I can see it in their eyes.
Yeah, the eyes, man.
Yeah.
I was told before by someone that I cared about very deeply. She told me, she said, "You have sad eyes."
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw her some years later, and she said, "Your eyes aren't sad anymore." I think that was probably one of the biggest compliments I ever got from someone.
Yeah, I'm sure that's great. I got told I got sad eyes once. I looked at the person and said, "Go fuck yourself."
That's where Zach and I differ, right?
Yeah.
I take something and make it nice and genuine, and Zach comes in and just spits on it.
And go spit on that thing.
I always do this, and so I'll give mine. Is the quote is, "You're just a man." That's something Marcus Aurelius used to have. He was a Roman ruler. He used to have his servants whisper in his ear, "You're just a man," because everyone in Rome would praise him and tell him he was great, and he was
just a man.
so aware that and fearful that the power and the success would go to his head. So he's like, remind me, that I'm solely just a man, like that I'm normal, that I'm a human.
Yeah, I mean, you see me do it to myself today too. I'm not special.
Yeah,
I'm not this. I'm not anything. I'm just a man that
Yeah.
hates the fucking grass outside of god dang Alpha Land.
Fuck that grass.
Fuck that grass.
But I think, and the point I want to make on it is that no matter how good or bad, or how big or small your problem is, you're just a person. You're just a man. You're just a woman. And so that problem is just a problem.
It's just a problem.
And it's probably, I mean, it may suck and it may be horrible, but it won't always be there. It'll go away.
Good stuff.
I've enjoyed talking with you today.
Yeah,
man.
dude. You know what sounds awesome?
Some pizza?
If we go fuck up some pizza.
Dude, I'm ready to fuck some pizza up. So, but before we let that go, a couple of things we can't forget. And the hashtags of the day are fuck the grass, he fucks, yuck the yum.
You can't yuck someone's yum, dude. Can't. If someone likes apples and you don't like apples, don't tell them fucking apples are gross. Don't yuck someone's yum.
Can't be yucking yums. And calcium cannons.
Calcium cannons. Ah, God, I loved her. Calcium cannons, for anyone who doesn't know, another great term is mommy milkers or tickle bitties.
There we go. Well, Zach, thanks for talking to me today, man.
Buddy.
Love you. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Look forward to many more years of fucking yucking each other's yum.
Yucking the yum.
And saying fuck the grass.
Fuck the grass, dude. Let's go get some pizza.
I love you, man.
I love you too.